What's up, guys? Excuse me. No intro screen tonight. I just forgot to play it, but I'm happy to be with you. I'm glad to be with you. I don't know how many, if any of you, at least who have joined the stream yet, were watching the War Room this afternoon. I got to do my every other week hour with Harrison, which I always really enjoy. I'm on there every other Monday. So I'm not good with dates and times and all that, but another Monday from now, I'll be back in there. So I really enjoy doing that. And there's something special about still being able to film on the set and having the studio still available. It's crazy because like 2 years ago, like I thought it was over basically, and they're still there. And there's a part of me that, like wants to move on at some level and see what comes new out of the Alex Jones network. 'Cause it's still going to be all the same great people working there. But a part of me is still nostalgic for Free Speech Systems. And if you don't know, that's the name of the company. The company's not named InfoWars Corporation or whatever. It's named Free Speech Systems. So, or at least it was. Hello, Rupert. How are you doing tonight? We're joined by my dog, as usual. And I've been noticing, I haven't heard a lot of feedback on it. I've been noticing that I have audio issues with this mic, and it's not the cable because I checked the other one. It's this specific microphone. So I thank you for tolerating it thus far. We're working on we're gonna fix a lot of things, including the computer, because the computer is the number one thing that grinds my gears. But I've got a good show prepared tonight. We're gonna take calls. I want to hear what y'all have to say, and that means when I put the number out, you got to call in. So a lot of times, put the number out, and we get like repeat callers, which is great. I want to talk to Nimrod Pod. I want to talk to New Groiper. I want to talk to Lauren, but I'd also enjoy talking to some new people, and I'll do that relatively early on into the show tonight, probably before the end of the first hour, maybe. It depends what topic first catches my attention because there are lots of things I want to discuss with you guys and continue the discussions I've been having with people like Tim, people like Harrison, and people like Suleiman. Um, there's a lot of interesting stuff going on in the world right now. And as I say that, it starts to grab me like a wave, like a torrent, like a riptide. And I get taken out to sea and I start thinking about geopolitics. I start thinking about the Middle East and wanting to talk about that with you guys. But let me read your comments really quick and just say hello to you. Saying hi. What's up, William Frosco? What's good, Rex? Finishing up a movie. Nice. What's up, Cole Dodson? I heard you were saying TikTok is super, like, censorship is real bad on there, right? And I made a commitment where I was like, okay, by the end of this month, I'm gonna get us streaming on TikTok. But then, like, if I go after Netanyahu or something, I don't want the entire account to get terminated because, like, we do want a social media presence on all the different platforms for the show, right? And like, even if it is more of the PG stuff that we put on Gray Area TikTok, it would still get people to Gray Area YouTube, Gray Area X, to my X, to Tim's X, to the show's account, all of it. So we're gonna do that. And it's just a matter of implementation. But you made me aware of that, and I looked into it, and you were right. So I appreciate it. What's up, Ashley? Ashley Rosegold. Thank you for being here tonight. It's good to see you. What's up, Honey Badger? Howdy, right back at you. That's always a Texas response. If you don't know someone, you're walking by them on the street, and you want to be chill, just go howdy, howdy. How are you doing? Howdy. Indeed. Rupert is the goat. Yeah, he's here in the studio right now. I didn't turn on the dog cam. Maybe when my roommate gets back from his little excursion, maybe he'll turn on the camera for me, and we'll see him because he's right over there right now. But I also don't want to summon him by like talking about him too much because the dog is smart and he understands when you're talking about it. So very fun. Howdy to all of y'all tonight. Thank you, Squid, for reposting, and thank you, SS Trikert or Strikert. I'm not sure how you pronounce that username, but shout out to you. First is in America first. You were the first commenter tonight. Ready for the next generation of info war against the globalists? I hope so. I hope so. My job, I think, is to share the political reality that I've woken up to just based off my years of intensive exposure to the swamp, to the slop, to all of it. Viewing it since I was a very little kid. And the thing I've come to is the thing my dad used to say a lot, where it's you want to go watch the football game and go get drunk with your buddies. Oh, you want to talk about politics? We don't do that. We don't have to do that right now, man. We're into sports. We're into sports, brother. We're not talking about politics. It's like, yeah, don't you know they're implementing soft kill? Don't you know they're implementing a surveillance grid on you? Don't you care about it at all? So, like, my goal is to wake people up from the tribal politic of Democrat versus Republican, because I don't subscribe to either of those. May both those parties metaphysically burn on the ash heap of history. May they both be gotten rid of, because at this point, they've both demonstrated their intense disloyalty. And not only that, disrespect to us, the American people, the people that voted for them and put them in office. And this is the point I was making on Harrison. See, the Riptide starts to take me away. This is the point I was making on Harrison, on the War Room, on InfoWars, is we don't owe these people anything. They are elected representatives. They are our civil servants. And then they have the nerve to spend most of their time in Israel, giving weapons to Israel, giving weapons to Ukraine, being over in Ukraine. You think about the insanity of it. And the numbers are disputed, but you've got anywhere from like, oh, Zelensky, oh, under 100K Ukrainian die. No Ukrainian die ever. But then you have the Russians and other people that say it's more around 1 million, right? And while this is all going on, while this World War II size war is happening, what's going on? Oh, the EU officials, the American officials, they're taking the train into Kiev. The first thing you do in a war is you blow up the train lines, you blow up the communication, you actually do war on a country. We have said, oh, we're just doing an operation, and then we actually commit an act of war, like taking someone's president. The Russians don't even blow up someone else's rail line, because like they're trying to abide by the rules they set out, regardless if you agree or disagree with them. Like, at least there's a pretext of international law. But that doesn't apply to us because we're Americans. America's number one ad infinitum. And I know it's all incredible, right? Like when you go to the grocery store, I spent $70 buying like 4 pounds of steak today. That's rape. And that didn't exist even when I was a kid. Right? And everyone's like, well, you don't even know, son. You just invest your money good. I'm a boomer. I'm all right. I'm 67. I got all this money. It's like, dude, fuck you. Like, seriously, fuck you. Your rent when you were my age was like $100. And it's just like, it truly is incredible. And I'm very fortunate. And a lot of people are very fortunate, right? Or I guess I shouldn't say a lot of people, but yeah, a lot of people. We're all in the West. We're all fortunate. We have the opportunity of social and economic advancement, right? But over the years, that's become harder because of the old people and what they decided to do with our country. And the old people, it's not like they were like, oh, I'm 60 now, it's time to retire. They're like, no, it's time for me to be a senator. It's time for me to be the president. It's time for me to be in the House of Representatives. And I am just done with it. I'm completely done with it. It's like, it's an old man, like telling you to turn the music down. Right. That's what our government is. Right. It's just like, hey, I'm trying to enjoy myself while you drive us off the cliff, because you're in the driver's seat. Like you're the one deciding all this. Well, I like it. And it's like, well, like memento mori, I guess, remember death, because that's what you're going to do to us boomers. But they already know. They know they're going to die. They know they're going to die soon. That's why they don't care. That's why it's just like giant explosion. And the silent death of the country is really not so silent anymore. And they want to parlay that into the Democrat-Republican thing again. Because remember, Trump actually was legitimate for a period of time. And people, this is my opinion. Of course, I'm not God, so I don't know things. I don't have omniscience. But I view Trump as a figure who was legitimate for a long period of time. Not a long period of time, but like from 2015 to getting elected, I believe him. Right. I believe the things he's saying. And like, that's why the American people resonated with him, and left and right and center even. There was no one that had a neutral opinion of it. And it was all based on he's going to break the system and that's good, or he's going to break the system and that's bad. And if you don't remember the way things were back then, that's how the Democrats were. There was none of like the radical AOC spirit that wasn't there yet, that hadn't incarnated yet into the animus of the party. What was going on is you had a bunch of hillbots, as New Dissidents calls them, right? And on the right, you had the Jeb Bush, you had the Marco Rubio, you had the John Kasich, right? And these were guys that are like, well, it's 2016, it's my turn. I've played good on the team and good with the boys, and I've always supported our interests and our lobbyists' interests. And Trump just gets up there and punks them bad. I used to fall asleep to those debates. Man, it's crazy how time flies. And now we're in a situation where that animus of the Republican Party being reanimated with Trump and what he did to change it Now it's gone completely ass backwards. And we're back at square one. We're back at the John Kasich, the Paul Ryan. We're back at the Pelosi, the Feinstein. We're back in that exact situation. So for me sitting here to go like, yeah, we're going to go on a new crusade, I can't say that. I can't say that because I don't have the energy for it. I don't have the energy to get invested in any one of these political groups because they're all liars, all of them, every single one, because they all do the same stuff. And it's what Harrison said. There's nowhere you can go to vote against any of this. There's no one you can go to. It's like, hey, do you have a different policy on the murder of children? Oh, well, I believe we should kill them. And you go to the Democrat and they say the same thing. So at the end of the day, it's reached a certain level where I think the public knows this. I think my audience knows this. I think the world at large knows it, but they're in two camps. It's either it's fun to play the game and you want to be on the sports team, right? Like you identify with MAGA, you have the MAGA hat, you have the, the lifted Trump with the truck with the bumper stickers and whatnot. And then you have the pussy hat wearing, the pride flag, the nose ring. You have this, right? So you have these two sides. It's like, oh, I hate you. I hate you. And they fight each other all the time for no reason. But it's the sports game. It's the bread and circus. It's the event. And I saw shades of this in 2020, and I didn't exactly recognize it. I didn't understand it for what it was. I didn't have a full understanding of it, but it disgusted me enough to leave politics for over 2 or 3 years. Because what I saw in 2020 was a country dealing with COVID, dealing with the craziness, dealing with really, Trump and Fauci. That's what we were dealing with. We were dealing with Donald Trump and Anthony Fauci. And I could feel in my bones that they were going to lose in November. I knew it was going to happen. And I went to this event with Owen. It had to be just the start of the fall. Must have been September. Must have been sometime around my birthday because it was a little colder out there. It was a brisk day, and it was in Dallas. It was a GOP event. And I witnessed 30, 40, 50, 60-year-old women twerking and dancing to Trump salsa music and Trump rap music in the street. And I was like, okay, all right, well, this is cooked. And they had a speaking event. Owen was a speaker. I was a speaker. I didn't end up speaking. People there didn't end up speaking. They had a crazy lineup of like 30 Republican politicians or whatever, like statewide. And dude in there who was like, but now I'm a gay. I want conservatism and I want to be a part of your party. And whatever you think about that, whatever you think about the guy, they literally had like a biblical stone him reaction. And I was thinking about that the other day. And I was thinking about that in relation to the ICE lady or the lady that got killed by the ICE guy, right? And I was like, these things are they're so grotesque. And even if you agree tacitly with the policy of like whatever's trying to get accomplished there, right? And whoever's job, things are implemented almost in a way that's so bad it's sick. And then it's just another kick in the can down the road. And this is what I see. This is what I notice. This is the real thing that I notice. And I get back to the football team analogy. It really is. It's a war. It's Fortnite. It's death. It's two sides that they're mad at each other. They're not mad at the people that are their representatives. In fact, they call them their leaders, right? And it's interesting. We talk about regime change everywhere. We have a regime. We have quite the regime. We have quite the little kingdom, except it's not ruled by one person. It's ruled by the corporations. It's ruled by BlackRock. It's ruled by people like Larry Fink or David Ellison. Hey, some of them may be all right, like Elon Musk. Thank you for letting me back on Twitter. Very cool. Shout out to Elon number one, GOAT status for letting me back on the internet. Very cool. I was banned along with the InfoWars people in 2021. I had 77K or something like that. Whatever. That number may be a little high. Who cares? Who knows what it was? I forget. But thank you for letting me back on. And this is what I say about Elon. I say, hey, like you have to be insane to get to that level. And it's not healthy, but he probably has Asperger's. That's probably the best version of it that you can have, And if his thing is he just wants to have a bunch of kids, whatever. I'm on Twitter, so it's very cool. I'll read some comments. The booty dancers were courtesy of TPUSA, if I recall. What makes you say that, Kurt? I also, okay, adult film stars are latching on to MAGA too. Yeah, I met a couple of those for sure. Stefan, yes. Trans Tim Kennedy, yo Rex, hope all is well. Yeah, It's going pretty good. Thank you, Abdullah. Stay goated, bro. Thank you. I'm trying. You know, I'm pretty mid, man. I'm pretty mid to be honest with you. Read the Federalist Papers on faction. The founders saw this coming. I will do that. I'll make a note of that. You were on InfoWars today, right? Yes. Every other Monday, I do a 1 hour guest appearance with Harrison. It's always very fun. I need to clip that, actually. I need to get that clipped. I feel like those in control are on this mission to reorganize the world to do what they want. It doesn't matter what we say about it. Like, we don't count at all. Got to wake people up. Yeah, I mean, it's just the thing is like people are people believe that if they do nothing, things will get better when I think that in fact things will get way worse. Things will get incredibly bad, incredibly fast. And we're already seeing that. I mean, I go back to the example of the steaks, me spending all that money on steaks. I mean, when I was a kid, $20 meant something. It means nothing anymore. It's a joke. Like, can't even get a haircut, man. It's beyond anything. I mean, you can get a haircut, but like, you know what I'm talking about. So, read some more comments. Rate this clip. I'll watch it later. Thank you for that, man. I loathe boomers. I don't loathe the boomers. Like, ultimately, they're people, right? But sports are gay. The Nimrod pod. Right. That's why you have to watch the gayest sport, which is the UFC. So it's a horseshoe effect. It becomes not gay. Very interesting. That's how the technical science works there. It's gay math. I'm from Southern Ohio, but in the Marine Corps, I was frequently asked if I was from East Texas. Very interesting. Why is that? Because of your accent or something? Very interesting. All right. Well, I'll go ahead and present some stuff. Here's the thing. I have an assortment of some stuff that I found interesting. I need to do a better job prepping, and I was rushing. I walked the dog before the show, and walking the dog means walking the dog like 2 miles, basically. So I had like a 15-minute time period, and then I started playing the loading screen. And I was like, man, I don't want to make them wait, even if it's just like 3 minutes and there's like 30 people in or whatever. I want to see you guys, and I want you guys to hear from me. So let's go ahead and present the screen. It's always good. You know, Tim's so good at the tech stuff. I'm so bad at the computer. I always forget to share the screen. Damn it. Forgive me. I want to share this one. All right, so we'll go ahead and get into some stuff that I found interesting. Shout out to all of y'all here tonight. And something we're going to do, we're going to talk about Fishback a little bit more before I take calls. You know, actually, let me know in chat, because y'all are very active and interested right now. Let me know, like Trans Tim Kennedy, Honey Badger, Kurt, Stefan, Abdullah, Man Every, Cole Dodson, Nimrod Pod. Let me know if any of y'all want to call in, and I'll go ahead and throw it up there. So, what do we have here? Nothing. Now we have something. Benjamin Netanyahu now says that if it had not been for the Jews, the U.S. would not exist. We brought you into this world, and we can take you out. How interesting. Okay, so a lot of Protestants don't know about that because that's not in your Protestant Bible, but in the Catholic or Orthodox Bible, it is. He's referring to the book of Maccabees. And see, the Ayatollah is bad because he's a theocratic religious leader. But what is this? You got a tiny hat, you got a menorah, you got a flag for a country that existed, or they claim existed 3,000 years ago. I mean, uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. There's no audio. Are you kidding? There's really no audio. There's really no audio. What is going on with the system? This is why we need the new computer. That's crazy. Okay, I don't want to take calls and have the audio not work for the computer. Yeah, I'm gonna check the page audio. You're 100% right. Thank you all for bearing with me. Welcome to the show. If you're just tuning in, we do have interesting stuff to get to. We have clips to react to. We've got posts that I found to be very thought provoking, and we're going to do calls. So I'm just doing some stuff inside of StreamYard right now, trying to repair the ship as we fly. Audio. Damn, would it be speaker? Be the speaker. I think it would be the speaker. Damn, which TV is that? There's two TVs. All right, we're gonna try this. Let me know if y'all hear this, guys. Sorry to do a BB audio test.
Of freedom, the respect for our common traditions, our common values, all of that would not happen if it weren't for those.
Do you hear the war criminal? Yes or no? Do you hear him talking? Yeah, it's buggy, man. We're switching to something else. All right, beautiful. All right, we're gonna rewind it because he's so proud of himself. This guy who's killed more people probably than anybody in the modern era. He's so proud of himself.
I said, Mike, that we are fighting today the battle that the Maccabees fought. They fought for the survival of the Jewish people and the Jewish faith against an enemy that wanted to extinguish us, wipe us out from the face of the earth. We were fighting our battle, but we were also fighting the battle of civilization, because our civilization is based on the Judeo-Christian tradition. And if the Maccabees had failed, there'd be no Judaism, there would be no Judeo-Christian civilization, there would be no Maccabees.
Okay, so he's like directly addressing Huckabee, and Huckabee's like orgasming over himself. He's like, I get to meet Netanyahu, and he's directly addressing me, and he has a golden menorah in front of him. Oh, it's degenerate and sick, and it's hilarious all at the same time. It's God's a comedian. Even the horrible stuff, man. This is absurdist comedy.
There would be no United States. There wouldn't be the civilization of freedom, the respect for our common traditions, our common values. All of that would not happen if it weren't for those 5 brave brothers. They actually made the whole difference. So that spirit animates these brave soldiers that are here today and their comrades who are fighting in Gaza or in Lebanon or in Iran, wherever is necessary to not only preserve the Jewish nation and the Jewish.
That's right. We got to make the state bigger. We got to do the greater Israel thing because that's what it says in our book. But you, America, because we don't have the power to do it, you have to get rid of the Ayatollah and do ground invasion in Iran. So that's totally reasonable, right? You know what? Let's use this as a sample topic, and I'll go ahead and take calls. I'll go ahead and get ready to do that. I'll launch the call-in software right now. So get ready. I'm about to display the number. And once I display the number, you can go ahead and call in, and then it'll put you on a wait list. All right. And there's going to be 3 people on the wait list. So maximum of 3. If someone drops off, I'll let you know when the queue is full. It sounds like we do actually have a lot of people that want to call in tonight. I'll let you know when the queue is full. But keep in mind, when I say that, there's no reason after I say that to call in, because that means there's 3 people on the line. I'll let you know when someone comes off. We'll do this for a little while. Maybe this will warm me up. I'm feeling a little tongue-tied, but there's a lot of stuff I did want to talk about and get into. And I will say I watched a really good stream on my way home and then walking the dog. I watched Anomaly stream. Shout out to him. He's like a musician, artist, and he's also like podcaster guy. I've been on his show a couple times. Great dude. And I was watching him, and it's like my dad will say on the show, like, I was watching your thing, and it was just perfect. It was incredible. It was the greatest thing I've ever seen. And that's how I felt about what he was saying. And also about a lot of the questions he was asking, because like, he's like, I don't know. I'm trying to figure this out. It seems grotesque. It seems excessive. It seems like too much. And I'm like, damn, like that's how I feel too. But I also don't completely know how I understand the situation. So I look forward to sharing that with you guys. We'll get into that after the calls. So I'm still in the process of launching. Once I launch, I'll give you the number. Once it is ready. Okay, New Grupper, you're already on the line. You're all right. Let me give the number out really quick. Okay, let me give the number out because I haven't even launched the menu yet. I haven't even launched the call-in menu yet. All right, we got 3 people on the board. That's more than enough. That's great. Or actually, I guess we got 2. We got a terminated one. What, like, you call into the show? See, I will take New Groiper's call first because New Groiper is a gentleman and a scholar and actually stays connected. Dude, we got these people dropping off. Are you there? Hello? Oh, hold on. Hello? It's not working? I can't hear you. When I fix the audio input, we have New Groper on the line. I can't hear him. Really sorry, guys. Very unprofessional. Very unprofessional from me, guys. Damn. All right, I'm gonna try a bunch of audio inputs. It's StreamYard. We're switching to a new software soon. We're gonna be liberated from this tyranny of dealing with this. And then I guarantee when I switch it back to me, he won't be able. The people won't be able to hear him. You can hear me, right? No. Okay. So it's not. Thank you're a trooper for staying on the line. I appreciate it. Very, very bad on my part, guys. Real sorry about this. I can't believe this keeps happening to us with the computer. Oh, man. Very embarrassing. I'm sorry. I apologize. Can you hear me? I assume you can. I can't hear you. Damn it all. Text him. I have the input for the audio messed up somehow when I'm taking a call. Is there a specific input that you switch it to in settings to fix that issue? I know we've had this happen before. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. New Groiper. All right, this sucks because we got a bunch of callers, and I want to have a bunch of callers, and then it's just there's no hope. No hope. And then I hear the test go off just fine. It should be pumping you through the speaker, but it's not. All right, New Groiper, will you call back in? I'm going to drop you if you call back in or test something new. I'm real sorry, brother. Thank you for calling in. Call back. Damn. This is fun. Technical issues is what I should have titled this stream. Okay, I guess I have to have someone on the line to test it, though. That's the thing that makes no sense. That's what I understand. So I hear this in my ear. I hear him, the genocidal war criminal, in my ear, but then I can't hear the damn caller. Come on. I'm sorry to yell into the mic. I shouldn't do that. I don't know what to do to fix this because any testing of it requires, reboot the call software. That's a good idea. All right, I'm dropping the calls. I'm sorry, y'all. I appreciate you sitting in a room. I really do. Damn it. I hate this software, man. And it works, and it works good when it works, and then you're like, "Man, this is great." And all right, ending show. All right, I ended the show. I want to do so y'all hear this. Yeah, we're working on that, Nimrod Pod. I'm not. I want to talk to you, Stefan, and see this is unmitigated disaster. So y'all, right? Y'all can hear this. Someone said that I'm not like my dad because I'm not crashing out. I'm about to break the. I'm about to throw the keyboard through the TV. This is ridiculous. I'm about to go Wings of Redemption. Keep it on DLZ. The audio settings you can try. Yeah, I tried to change it back to LGTV. Okay, we're gonna do this again. I'm gonna make sure I have the audio set correctly the first time before we dive into it. It's just so frustrating. Yeah, I'm coming in clear now. So you can't hear me when the input is on this when I play a clip. But then you can hear me when it's off. But then I'm supposed to do this input, and then you can't hear. I can still hear the clip coming through my ear. So the speaker output somehow is messed up to where I can hear the call, or I can't hear the call, but I can hear audio routed through the TV. Yeah, solid for YouTube chats. Yeah, but we're doing a bunch of different platforms here. That's a problem. It frustrates me to no end. It really does. It grinds my gears, guys. It really does piss me off. All right, we're gonna try this again. It's gonna be switched to the TV to start to the and just New Groiper, you're a trooper. You're a gray area warrior. I'm gonna set it up again. If you'll call in, we're not gonna be defeated by this. We're not gonna. I literally, I'm like, we're not gonna be defeated by this, and it's doing more stuff to me, but it'll be okay. It'll be okay. You know, I had this thing called the Baton Death March, right? And that was a lot worse than dealing with this. So we'll be able to troop our way through, connect to show, 0 calls. Okay. Any hope? I assume you hear me. I still can't hear you. Okay, I'm going to switch back to the other input. Test. No. No. Are you there? Are you there? Hello? Yeah, I know y'all. Okay, you can only hear me through the stream. That's devastating, man. That's brutal. That's absolutely that's you stick the knife in and then you twist it. That's how you make things really hurt. And that's what this is doing to me right now. Okay, I apologize. The call in is something that we really want to work hard to get right and get working, but it's pissing me off too much. And I do want to do a good show for you guys. I'm just gonna I gotta end it. I got to terminate the show. Not the live show, but the call, because the call costs money. Oh, man. Okay. So where do we go from here? I guess we go into the news stories that I had, but my thing is I've been live today. It's barely anything doing an hour with Harrison because he already has documents and information that I can just kind of second chair co-pilot with him, and that's really fun. But sitting here with you guys, my thing is I always want you to have a good show. I don't want you to tune into me for no reason, and I'm just talking about something you don't care about. I want it to be interesting. I want it to be new, and I also want you to be able to interact with me. So, like Stefan, from the bottom of my heart, I apologize, and I'm going to get this fixed. Same with you, D. We'll talk to both of you, and I put your messages up there for a reason. So it sucks. It really does. In fact, maybe I'll share my screen and show y'all what I'm dealing with. Man. It worked fine last night. Who messed with it? I don't know. Did it work fine last night? Yeah, I guess it did. You did call in. It worked fine last night. It's not a wires thing. It's a website. It's a hosting service. And it's StreamYard and the damn audio input, because when I play this clip
and Jews elsewhere in America,
I hear it. And then y'all hear it as well. If I'm not mistaken, y'all told me the audio was fixed, right? Well, just go ahead and check what input it's on because I'm sure it's on another input. Yeah, y'all aren't hearing it at all. Of course. And it's just like I gotta bounce around here and find the different inputs, and I'm not even sure if this one's the one that's working. Okay, that is good. Is this okay? You know what it is? I haven't had nicotine in quite some time. I think it's time for a pouch break and a little chill breather, and we just all sit here for a second and relax, and we figure a way out of the situation. Yeah, y'all can hear BB when played. I'm like the input should work. That's the whole point of me playing it. It should work. But when I do the call in studio, it just you know what? I may go to intermission and mess with it. We heard it at first. I usually have to unblock echo for audience to hear it. Not sure what you're referring to because you didn't hear the calls because I didn't hear the calls. Like the thing is, before you do the calls, there's like a sound to like launching the thing, and that sound is not there. There's like a doo doo doo, and that's not there. That's the problem. In fact, that's all I need to test this. I don't need to bother you guys. Okay. Like I said, we're all just taking a chill pill. We're hanging out. I do appreciate everyone who's on the stream right now. No host connection. Please connect to the host. What do you mean? It's crazy how time is relative, right? Because like things that suck feel like they happen for an eternity, but then things that are great, they barely have any time to them at all. So over so quickly, I guess would be the more poetic way to say it. But it feels like I'm just stewing here. I know it's probably only been like 30 minutes. It's crazy. And that's what happens when formatting issues happen with the show. And that's why we have to do a better job. I have to do a better job of being prepped. Because if I had call tested before, we wouldn't have this issue. But I made the choice to walk the dog later in the day to watch more of the Fallout episode, and here we are. Consequence of my action. No host connection. Please connect to the host. We're trying to do that. Be nice if I could do it. Okay. I don't think calls are going to work tonight. It's really bucking me hard. Man, shit's designed not to work. Everything is in the modern era. You notice that about the world. Everything's designed to break, so you have to get a replacement or look up an FAQ on how to fix it or find some wiki. And it's just like, man, why can't you make stuff that's simple? Show is in progress. No, in show. Yeah, confirm it in show. All right. I feel like I did that twice. All right. So launch a show, host a show, criteria of the show. Appreciate all y'all for being here tonight. Give us a true crash out. Give it in the anger. Give me 10 more minutes dealing with this. I might. I might. Yeah, planned obsolescence. Great point on the planned obsolescence. No host connection. Oh, just it don't have to be this difficult. It don't. This is fun. This is fun for me. This is what life is now, going live every day. Typing in the same URL over and over again, trying to get the thing to execute, and it just won't. In progress. No, I just want to end the show, man. Not live. We're staying live at least for another hour and a half or something like that. This grinds my gears. Ooh, I like that. I heard that on Family Guy, and I was like, that's tight. I'm gonna steal that. You ever do that? You hear something, you're like, oh, that's a good phrase. I'm gonna take that one. Okay, so how do I end a show that I can't get out of? I mean, so I have to end the show to start the new show talking about the, like, call-in app that we use, and I can't get into the show. Maybe I click. No. No. And then I'll have to pay Tim back 40 bucks because I won't be able to figure out how to end it. That'll be the fun part. It's always funny when stuff like that happens. You're just like, "Man, I couldn't prevent it from happening. I knew I was gonna owe someone a little bit of money." Damn. 'Cause I saw him fill it back up because it was empty. The call-in money was empty, and then he filled it back up. Like, we're live on the call-in thing. Like, but it's also not hosting? My shows in progress, 2 minutes. No. It says start show, but it says the show is live. It says in progress, 2 minutes. Oh, man. What's y'all's favorite animal? What's y'all's favorite animal? I wanna hear in chat what y'all's favorite animal is. I'll tell you what mine is. You tell me what yours is. Maybe it's the setup that's not right. I thought it was. I I thought it was you just host show, and then we got the begin show criteria, and then it's save and start show. I thought. I thought that's what it was. And then I click and no host connection. Oh, okay, I gotta authenticate. Maybe that's what it was? Huh, okay, go into quick intermission. Yeah, I appreciate y'all being here. Thank you, I'll be right back. All right. So turn up my audio here. It's fixed now. It was a minor issue. Me and Tim figured it out. So if you want to call back in, the number is 512-675-7144. I heard the doot 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 music. So if New Groiper, if you want to call in, I'll take you live right now and we'll inaugurate this whole call-in stream. And then we'll take calls from others. Finally, I hear you. What's up, man? Dude, that was making me a little frustrated. That was making me a little upset. I don't like it when things don't work, but it's literally it's as simple as clicking a button twice. So that was my mistake. Yeah, it would take a little bit more than that for me to get frustrated. I mean, ultimately, like the fact that it is kind of a hillbilly operation, like I'm sitting in what should be a dining room, but been turned into a studio. The fact that it's like that, I'm just like, okay, there are going to be hiccups and bumps on the road. But if you've got like a highly prepped, highly prepared show where you have like 120 different clips and you know all of them and you know what you want to show and something goes wrong, like I understand that a little bit more. It's funny when it happens though. Oh, they're saying they can barely hear you? Dude, what is on? I can hear you great. I can hear you. We're getting closer.
Headphones and see if that helps.
Do y'all hear him?
Okay. All right. Can you guys hear me better now? Do what they say.
How are we doing? All right, that worked. I switched it to the
Okay.
TV. It's either that or the headphones. The great thing is we did it at the same time, so we'll never know. We'll never know.
Yeah, no, dude, that's how tech stuff works. It just doesn't sometimes.
Right. So what's on your mind? What did you think of our interview?
So the interview last night, you talking about what Silver?
Yeah, just in general.
Most
Like,
of
are
it.
you enjoying the interviews on the show? Like, are you
Yeah.
like?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I think obviously some mileage varies with some of them compared to others, but
Right.
I still have yet to watch the Fishback interview.
Mm.
I have not caught up
It
yet.
was really good.
So
He's really smart, man. Like our goal, really my goal too, like me and Tim share this goal 100%, is to just like the thing I enjoyed about InfoWars growing up is like I got to meet Louis Farrakhan, Patrice O'Neill, Gerald Celente, Jesse Ventura, like all these different crazy people, right? And I get to watch them on video, talk and to do interviews and find out what they're really about. Joe Rogan, hell, like all of them, right? And on
yeah.
all of these shows, like, the closest I guess you could say is like a Tim Pool. Like he has a bunch of different people on, but even that, it's like his weird like beanie agenda. Like we don't have that here. We're just trying to
Mhm.
talk to people. That's what we wanted to do.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing I want to know about Fishback more than anything is his connection to Bill Ackman and that group.
Mm.
I don't know if you got into that or not.
Didn't get into that.
But
I know he's involved or has been involved in the world of high finance.
yeah, like I said, to me, when I see Fishback, the whole allegations of him hiding his Jewish ancestry.
Mm.
Which my thing is like, I get that like there are people that have Jewish ancestry that don't. But the thought of, the part where I get suspicious is when you cover it, allegedly.
Mm.
It's like that's kind of a thing. And then you tie that in with Bill Ackman. I think he might be a Trojan horse. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that's my initial assessment. I mean, he says the right things, but all politicians do, don't they? Until they lie and do the opposite of what they said they were going to do.
Like we see with Trump, right? So I understand your perspective.
Oh yeah,
I get it. I do. I liked his platform. I like what he said. I mean, ultimately, if you call it a genocide, I trust you a little bit. Like that's a real thing. Like you can't say that over there. Like you can't say that over here in our government because they won't allow it, right? So when I hear that, my ears perk up because I'm like, okay, well, like they don't want that being out there. But then you also, you see Tucker, right, who also says some of the same things. I mean, they went on each other, or I guess Fishback went on Tucker's show. They didn't go on each other's shows, and they were simpatico on a lot of things. But Tucker's in the oil meeting, so it's all we don't truly know. But it's all. People call me the black pillar. You're the supreme black pillar, Negro Emperor.
Oh yeah. Well, here's the thing. All the people who cry about me being a black pillar can think about this. When they eat up the slop and their stomachs are full with it, when it comes time for the rotten substance that they've eaten to come back up, they can deal with the consequences. Because I've been around long enough to know. It's like don't trust anything you hear and half of what you see.
Right.
That's kind of the way I take it, especially with a politician.
Mm.
Like if you like the politicians are objectively the worst. And so if somebody's vying for that office, I mean, they're going to lie because that's what politicians do in order to get elected is they lie and then don't do what they said they're going to do.
Right.
They
right.
do what their donors or,
Right.
whoever they're beholden to wants them to do. And that's Trump's problem. That's
Right.
why I think, like all these things Trump's doing now. With the whole the housing stuff and all the different things he's doing now, I think he looked at the numbers for the midterms and probably like had an out of body experience
Right.
because he saw what was going to happen. And now he's serving us slop because the GOP side of things or the far right is in full blown rebellion mode.
Right.
And he can promise all this stuff, but until it's done, I'm not going to do a good job, Trump, when it's not done. So,
well, that's
my thing.
That's a very interesting point. Obviously, it's in your name, like you identify as a Groyper, and that's one of the power blocks coming out of the fracture of the Republican Party that's currently in progress. It's like you have a baseball bat. You ever see not even that. You ever see one of the older, not even older, good History Channel documentaries about like the Revolutionary or Civil War, and they have like the animation of a musket ball, and it's like going like slowly like through the space towards the person's like leg or arm or whatever, and they show the slow motion hit. We're like at the point where it's just starting to break the skin. So we have your group, really our group, because I identify as a Groyper as well. I like Nick Fuentes. Now their platform disagreements that I have with him, I'm not completely on his like the trad-cath agenda, right? I'm not 100% pro that, but I think he's the most honest, and I think he does the best show out of anybody, and I respect him a lot for that on the right wing, because he's honest about an agenda of, hey, like we have to get in power, we have to do something, right? Because then the Democrats and the Republicans both, it's this elite class of politicians that never really changes. Of course, like AOC will be Pelosi in like 30, 40 years. They'll just be the same person, right? If things progress and somehow the nation is able to stay alive and have a political oligarchy like we do now. What do you think happens to the right? What happens to the left? What group eventually takes over? Because you got boomer Zionist Chud MAGA, you've got Candace Owens lunatic, you've got Groyperland, you've got just general like libertarian kind of like the people that are conservative affiliated but are upset with this administration. I kind of put myself half in the Groyperland and then half in that land, right? And then on the Democrat side, you've got people, you got the La Raza people that want to take over America and make it Mexico. You've got the BLM people, you've got the white liberal, you've got the white Jewish liberal or just Jewish liberal. And like what group comes out of this strong, or what groups?
I can tell you this for certain. The GOP is not going to make it.
Yes.
Because we're going to make sure it doesn't. Here's my thoughts. We already get nothing, right?
Right.
So I don't care if I get anything. I'm at the point now to where they're going to pay. And they're going to pay by losing their power. And I hope that the Democrats get in, and I hope that they go nuts. Well, except for, like targeting your dad, obviously. I ride with the InfoWars gang till the end. But like Trump,
it is we're not being protected bars. Now. So like
they all suffer.
Why does it even matter? Because like the people that promise to hurt you, when they hurt you, you're like, okay, you hurt me, whatever. The people promise to help you and then hurt you even worse. You're like, I'm supposed to be okay with this. It makes the underhandedness of it makes it worse. And it's
absolutely,
it's not even underhanded, right? Like the president endorsing Lindsey Graham should be cause for him to lose all of his support, right? Because like that guy is everything he ran against every single time he ran.
Right. And my thing is if the GOP is going to do nothing for us,
right,
then I'm not interested in what they have to sell. They can peddle me whatever they could try, So all the slop in front of me, I'm not buying it. And frankly, they're going to learn a valuable lesson in these midterms.
I think they have
to.
I think that's
if it's going to change.
I think that's the sentiment of a lot of people. I want to go to Cole Dodson because he hasn't been on the show before. I'm going to put you on the queue,
absolutely.
And then I'll call you back. All right.
All right. Yeah.
I did. Did I did not mean to. I did not mean to drop New Groiper. Please call back. I apologize. I keep messing things up. Dobson, are you on?
10-4, right here with you, brother.
What's going on, man? How's your evening?
Pretty good so far. Got a nice little cold evening up here in Knoxville.
Nice.
Beautiful sunsets, to say the least, but they sure don't really compare to East Texas that's where I'm from, my little stomping grounds.
Yeah, that's where my family's from as well. My dad's dad is from out there. That's where our family land is, and it's beautiful country out there with the pine and everything. It's been a weird winter for us. We've had a lot of 70 and even 80-degree days almost, but it's gotten cold for us again, which means like 40 degrees. So.
Yeah, I mean, the other day I was watching the sky and I was seeing the planes going around. Of course, they got the sprayers turned on, all nice and sweet for us.
Right.
And at the same time, I'm watching all the local meteorologists in the area going like, big time rain event coming. You better get ready for this one. I'm like, oh, that's how cute.
All right. Yeah, I look at the sky and it's outrageous. And they go, oh, it's just the jet fuel burning. It's blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, like it's on record. Like it's particulates, it's aluminum, it's things they put in the sky to do certain things. And like this has been going on for a very, very long time. And you look up at the sky and you see it and it's not normal. Hey, like Trump, why can't you stop that? Why can't you stop that? RFK said he was going to stop it and then radio silence. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, see, I remember when Helene hit the area. See, being from Texas, suffered through Hurricane Rita, Hurricane Harvey, 2 feet of water in my house, been through all that. But looking at Helene, that's around the time everybody started waking up to the fact that, there is weather modification going on.
All right.
And because I was on the ground doing some of the downstream coverage, because Nick Sorter, I was talking to him around that time. He was doing the upstream up in Asheville where they got just absolutely just wiped out. And, I was covering some of the downstream stuff. And I mean, just the power that moving water has really changes your aspect on a lot of things.
Right.
But
I've seen floods. I know what just a little bit can do. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. You just see fences that are deep down in the ground just get torn out like it's nothing. It's just a gust of wind blowing a tumbleweed.
Yeah, and I mean the same thing with when the Guadalupe River flooded for I don't know a billionth time in our lifetime. I mean, because I remember being in Kerrville in 2002 when that flood happened, and then seeing all the images that came out of Texas last year with those floods, and the part where I was talking about, the power of moving water, that was something that was talked about in it's Weather Braids. It's another podcast if you're really interested, the finer details of meteorology and whatnot. There was a meteorologist from, I should say retired meteorologist from the Weather Service office in Austin. And he's just like, the one thing that people just don't appreciate is the power of moving water. And, with all the new people that moved from all the blue states in Texas, they were like, oh my gosh. And us being the native Texas, we're like, this has happened before.
Well, one thing pushes those people out is the weather. They don't understand the unpredictability of the southern or of the Texas weather in general. And it's like, oh, I come from a place where it's 70 degrees all day, or I come from a place where it's really cold and I don't deal with like hot weather conditions or like wet conditions where I'm driving because I'm either in New York or LA, I'm taking a taxi or I'm walking around like a liberal, and those people move here and they're like, damn, like very, very interesting, interesting points. What else is on your mind?
So, when you first went on the air doing the gray area, I think I teased to you this Texas corruption story I was working on.
Okay.
Concerning some issues going on in Hardin County, which is where I used to live in that neck of the woods. And I've actually had a few new developments. In fact, one of them is involving a county judge. The Hardin County Judge, Wayne McDaniel, seems to be running a little bit of a fraud operation. So I'll kind of, get into the gist of it. It's before he became the county judge in 2014, after Billy Caraway retired, he was a constable and he was running a company called Lumberton Tower Service, or LTS Wireless Limited. So when he became the county judge, he never shut down the business. And then I had someone that used to be an employee for him tell me that the company shut down in 2016 when he became a full-term judge after that. However, you look at the Texas Secretary of State website, the company is still showing active. And I've had a private investigator tell me that the bank accounts and the post office box is apparently still active. And essentially the whole quid pro quo to it is he's a county judge, but he's also still running the side business where they outfit all the government vehicles with the radios and lights and everything. And on a county judge's salary, he's living in essentially a mansion in Lumberton. And it's like, where is all this extra money coming from? Because I don't think county judges, they don't get up into the six-figure range. I don't think. If it is, it's like in the 100Ks.
Right.
And that's kind of the game that's going on. And when I told the former employee that the Secretary of State's website is still showing active, they were just in complete shock because they said like, oh, I'm sure it closed down in 2016. I'm like, well, it's still showing active here, and I've got private investigators tell me, yeah, still running the show.
Wow. Where can so I want to cover local politics and local corruption a lot. I guess like if I don't follow you on Twitter already, I'll follow you back. I want to hear more about your investigation and your investigative work. If we've DM'd before, I'm sorry, my DMs are a mess. I do appreciate the call. Thank you, Cole.
Yeah, no problem. I'll try to shoot you a DM here tonight, kind of fill you into stuff, and maybe we can set up an interview or something. I already did one with Shiloh Platts. That's also another good podcast to listen to if you're interested in Texas politics.
Nice. You know, I'll check that out. Say that name again of the podcast.
It's Talking Texas with Shiloh, SHILO,
Talking Texas,
and Platts, PLATTS.
All right. Okay. Here's the thing. I'm going to be live every day. And like that includes with Tim and without Tim. And honestly, I'll be live more without Tim now because Tim is going to do the Thursday and the Sunday show, and he's going to do an even bigger deep dive. So I need to find things that we can talk about, stories that we can follow. I'm going to keep, actually, I just stole a whiteboard from the InfoWars office, and I'm just going to start keeping a list of guest interviews and topics and trying to interweave the three things and trying to make sure we have something for every day that's interesting and exciting. Thank you, Cole. I'm going to take one more call. I'm going to go back to New Groyper. Thank you.
2-4. Thank you.
All right. Is auto screen aborted by host? That's New Groyper. Okay, really quick. Nimrod Pod. Nimrod Pod, what's on your mind tonight, man?
Not too much, brother. I wanted to respond to New Groyper, who, by the way, I think is fucking hilarious, and he's really smart. And honestly, he should have his own show. I like a lot of the things that he says, and he reminds me a lot of my co-host. However, I guess I'll kind of pose this question to the group, especially if he gets back on the call. So if we aren't going to get behind candidates that are aligned with our populist vision for America, then why haven't we just violently revolted? Like, if you're not going to reward politicians for listening to us and course correcting, then like, what is this, ominous solution that we're searching for? Like, are you guys going to run for president and fix all of our problems? I really like that you've had candidates on the podcast, because this gives us something to work towards and put all of our energy behind, as opposed to just, being black pilled to the point where there's no hope and we just sit back and get bent over and fucked in the ass by the deep state.
Well,
what are your thoughts on that, Reps?
This is a fun thing because this is an idea that I've had, and I'm not sure how exactly to make it work, but we are doing this. Like we say in the MMA community, the meme, we have won. We are the champion. We are going to do this. We're going to do call-in debate shows with callers that have strong opinions or hold certain beliefs or have certain topics they want to defend. And we're going to have them go up against people that they disagree with. So if you want to get on call with New Groyper and hash it out, that's coming soon. And I would look forward to those discussions going on, Nimrod Pod.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. And to answer your point, I mean, you're like, what's the solution, right? If we can't get behind someone, ultimately, if we're black-pilled, like you gave the example of hypothetical Minecraft scenario, violent revolt, right? And my answer to that is just things are still too good here. Things are still too plentiful and too cheap. It has to get really bad before it gets good. And I think we will actually see the potential to get governmental change. And I think if we have enough of these candidates who at least stood on these platforms and admitted that change was coming and admitted we weren't on the roller coaster of good things, and in fact, we needed to get off the roller coaster, like people like Fishback say, that's just, I like to hear it. It's the same stuff I heard from Trump, so I understand his point. At the same time, I think both positions are reasonable. I lean towards more of your position, but I'm also just waiting for the big explosion. So very, very interesting. You have another point?
No, I'll kind of build on that. I think, these grassroots candidates come in all different shapes and sizes. Like, you have really talented, well-spoken businessmen like Fishback. Then you have guys that are regular-ass citizens that are in way over their skis, like Aaron Baker, but at least you can trust him. I mean, that guy is as genuine as possible. And I was actually kind of nervous when he first came on your show, but then I started to realize like where his heart was at, and that's the stuff that we need to get behind. And I think folks like your dad, I'm really having a hard time watching him as of recent, but I'm coming to understand that he is defending the administration because he cares so much about his loved ones and he doesn't want to go to jail. Like, I think that's my conclusion, because if the Democrats get back into power, then his whole life is, even more fucked than it already is. But I don't think he realizes that there are alternatives out there. I don't think he realizes who the fuck James Fishback is. And I think, maybe you need to get in his ear and wake him the fuck up, because we need him leading from the front. And I think you're spot on all this shit. And I know his heart's in the right place. And I know folks like him, hearts are in the right place, but we just need to kind of get behind the fact that the people are an immovable object, and we're not going to let any of these scumbag politicians fuck us over anymore.
Right. Here. I agree with all that, man. To be honest with you, like I have a hard time sometimes too, because like I can't deal with cheerleading, and like he'll call it cheerleading. He goes like I'm happy to do it because like I believe in the administration and I want them to do good things. Look at all the good people. Look at Kennedy. Look at Gabbard. I'm like, well, like people are still getting the COVID shot, number one, and like that was the thing that we railed against and preached against for years. And I believe one of our greatest redeeming claims to fame, and it sucks that I have to say that now, is the fact that we prevented tens, if not hundreds of thousands of people from getting the poison inoculation. And to go from a world where we're dealing with the Trump indictments, it looks like there's no light at the end of the tunnel, to 2024, Trump comes back out, Trump gets shot, Trump gets assassination attempt happen twice, and he's saying the anti-war stuff, he's saying the anti-Ukraine war stuff, he's saying the pro-America stuff, the America First stuff. We're so happy that night that he gets elected, and we're like, we don't care if we lose the building, we don't care about whatever. Like he won, he's the president again. Things are going to get better. And I genuinely believe that. And for me, it's been hard to process. It's a grieving process of dealing with losing, like the imaginary friend you thought you had. But for someone like my dad, who spent 3 decades of his life building a media platform, a media empire, really an alternative media empire, the first one ever, Free Speech Systems, LLC, better known as Infowars.com, DBA, it's really hard to kind of rationalize, I think, that the cavalry might not come or is not coming, as I would put it. And then he would say they're still going to come. And I just don't share that belief. And like, I respect my father. I'm not ever going to disparage him on stream. Same with my mother. I won't disparage him, but I disagree with both my parents on a lot of things. And like I moved out of my dad's house when I was 15 years old. And like, we have disagreements with our parents. We can't ultimately change the way other people think. We can only hope to give them more information and more context and more time to have a correct understanding. And I think once we get out of the fishbowl of the current situation we've been put in, because the operation is crippled, you got to keep this in mind. In the entire history of InfoWars, there was never a sponsor. There was never Bigley. There was never any of this stuff. And I like Bigley, big fan, design products for them. You name it, they pay me. So we were an operation that had 3 people at the start and ended up with 79 people. And that's not including the warehouse. We had a warehouse that was like an aircraft hangar. There's my dog saying hello. We had a warehouse that was like an aircraft hangar. We had a warehouse that was like 1,600 square feet or more. We had 10 people working tables full time every single day. And to lose that operation, to end up with ultimately a sponsor, to end up with a building where we have to ask permission for expenses, even the smallest little thing. And he never had to do that before because he was making the money. He was a profitable company. Look at all these people that run big businesses and they run them at a loss. They have lost leaders, the people that own these newspapers, because they don't care. It's free money for them. But all the money that was earned through doing the show, that was all taken away. And the shell of what was left is threatened to be taken away too. So I just want to see us blossom into a new operation. I want to see the Alex Jones Network. I want to see what happens next. And I think that's where the true liberty comes from. And I hope we see a resurgence of, what we used to see on the show. So I'll agree with you there, man. And it does suck to see. I agree. Still there?
Totally. And I'll leave you with this question. You can get back to New Groiper. This is kind of my question for him. How would he define organized Jewry? Because personally, I think there's a difference between ethnic Jews and religious Jews, and I'm curious in how he would respond.
Right. Now, I would agree with you, right? And like someone like me, I'm 1/8. I'm 12%. And then people online will have higher standards than Hitler. Hitler wouldn't have killed me, by the way. But they're like, you are verboten and you must die. And I'm like, okay, all right, it is what it is. But we'll go ahead and add New Groiper to the call. And then after that, I'm going to put the number out again. And everyone waiting before to call in, once I put the number out, call back, call in again. I will take your call. I'm really sorry about that. I think it was Leanne and one other person. I put their chats up. But I'm going to go ahead and take New Groiper's call. New Groiper,
what's up?
What's up? You're back. Did you hear his question?
I did. All right. So we'll start with the first thing. You posed a very good question. I would say this to start with. The definition of insanity is to do the same thing and expect a different result. Placing our hopes in politicians would be the definition of insanity, for every single one of them have failed us repeatedly. And so, they all come in, they say the right things, they look the right part, they're polished or, they're edgy or whatever the times call for. But then at the end of the day, when it comes time to get crap done, they're not interested. And so, I mean, if Fishback comes in and he's great, then cool. I'm not going to be like, oh, well, no, if he does a good job, then that's one thing. But to hitch our carts to a horse where we don't know nothing about this horse, like less than a year ago, or I guess right at a year ago, this dude was buddied up to Barry Weiss and them.
Right.
I mean, I've just been around a little bit, long enough to know, like, if Trump's willing to turn his back on your dad, it shows that this politics game is cutthroat. And they will do anything and everything. And, going off of what he said in that first point, too, what stops the armed rebellion, I'd say exactly what you said. It's complacency. And I think we will eventually get to that point. I honestly do. Because the government now has been captured in every sense, and that's kind of where we are. And I think that until we, we can hope things, but hope doesn't change reality. You know what I mean? And so we have to deal with what we have in front of us. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, if these guys come in and make changes, cool. But, if some guy just rolls up off the block and is like, oh, I'm base, look at me. It's like, we'll see. You know what I mean? And that's just kind of where I land with that.
Right. Well, I think that's a reasonable response. Give another point that you want to make, or another point another caller made.
Yeah. Well, he asked. He asked about organized Jewry, and the thing about it is we're going to put on our big boy pants here and have some uncomfortable truths brought to the forefront. Identity politics is not. It's not this negative ideal. It's a present reality. Everybody is functioning in it, and when it comes to organized Jewry as a whole, we know that there's an ethnic identity tied to the nation of Israel, which is why when they polled most of Israel, they're like 90% on board with the genocide.
Right.
And why they have things such as the World Jewry Congress, and they meet monthly with all these different panels and institutions that they have based on Jewishness. So they're operating as a people group in a block. I didn't set that reality. I just see it. And so that's really what it boils down to is if they're functioning as a block and they're using their collective power to, to influence things. I mean, I can respect that because I think that's what we should be doing.
Mm.
But it's one of those things because and this is the way it's been pitched to them. It's us against the world, and based off of historical incidences with like the Jewry aspect, like the group aspect has caused them problems in many different empires for thousands of years. It's a repeated, prolonged, extensive pattern. And so we can't just stick our head in the sand like an ostrich and pretend like it's not there. And does that make every Jew bad? No. Does that mean every single Jew is, on board and is rocking the Israel flag? No.
But the billionaires are Jewish.
All
the billionaires are Jewish. All the leaders of the countries are Jewish or related to Jewish people or have Jewish descendants or XYZ. They're tied in, and that group has achieved the height of the power block of that game of politics that you're talking about. So it makes sense when I say politics, identity politics. Go ahead.
No, I'll just give another example. The recent purchase of CBS, so they can install Barry Weiss as the pro-Israel puppet editor. Like that whole deal brokered to the Ellison family. The Ellison family alone controls most of media now. That's not just some kind of fringe theory. They own TikTok. They own ByteDance. They own Oracle. They own CBS, Paramount. They own all of this crap. And Trump has come out and said like he's on board with it, and he's the one who's using his institutional power to back that, which is why, like Trump thinks it's a big deal because he talks about how his grandchildren are Jewish and all this, and he's recently come out against anti-Semitism, but it's just like we can't. Like I understand the ideal, but the ideal is not what we live in, and so we can't make change if we don't. Like the doctor cannot cure you or heal an illness until they accurately diagnose the problem. And until we recognize that there are people groups functioning as collective blocks, using their influence to, overrepresent themselves in every aspect, I don't think we are going to get any change.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
I was listening to an excellent stream. I was watching Anomaly. Now I've been on his show a couple times. That's Anomaly with the 0 for the first O there, and he was talking about it.
Him.
Yeah, and he was talking about he's going like, do the American people want like Moscow, St. Petersburg? Do they want Tehran? Do they want Beijing to look more like San Francisco? Like, is that what we're fighting for? Right? Ultimately, just like the in stage like reality of like a Nazi propaganda cartoon 100 years later. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. It's really funny. The irony in it too is like with the Jewish bloc, they're the ones who are screaming diversity, equity, inclusion from the mountaintops. They're the ones who are the neocons.
But no diversity.
They're doing all these things, but then
no diversity for them. No diversity for them. That's that. That's not what they want.
Oh yeah, go to that borough in New York City. Where they all live in communities and they have their exclusive police force and paramedic service and free doctors for their own people. And it's a closed gate community. It's like diversity and melting pot for you, Jewish purity, their idea, not ours, right? For them. It's hypocritical. And it's like, until we speak and say the truth about what it is, I don't see a way forward. And, and my thing is like, going back to Fishback, even if he is good, right? What's going to happen to him the second he takes power? And if he starts rocking the boat?
It's a totally fair question. And like we have to be able to like ask that first off the rip. And like whatever answer they give us, we asked that question to Trump. And he's like, I am the chosen one. They're not there to get, they're there to get you. I'm just in the way, all that kind of talk. And then he's like, no, actually, I'm with them. And we're also trying to get you now. So it's very,
Yeah.
it's very interesting. Thank you, man. I think I'm going to put the intermission thing up for a little bit. I'm going to use the bathroom. So.
Okay, go ahead, man. Hey, it's been good talking to you.
For sure. And if I'm still live in like an hour and a half, call back in, dude. I appreciate it.
All right, sounds good, dude. All right, we'll see you, man. Take it easy.
You too. God bless. Peace. All right, that was New Groiper, the great New Groiper. 19 calls in. He really is the call-in goat. And y'all all want to be like him. Call in when I put in the number. I'm putting in the number now. All right, we got a new caller on the board. Sean Stryker or tell me how to pronounce your name when I take you live. 3, 2, 1 now.
Hey, it's Sean Stryker, Rex. How you doing?
Awesome. I'm glad I got it right. Stryker.
Yeah, I just use the first initial and last initial of my last name around the Stryker handle, so it keeps it simple for email address and unique handles and things like that.
Nice. What's on your mind?
Yeah, well, just like there's a method to that madness, there is a method to the madness when our politicos do go sideways on us. So I don't want people out there to be black-pilled. I know you and your family have been through a lot. And the thing is sometimes we got to go into the weeds to examine why things are the way they are. And then the other element is what's the solution to that? So you've heard about the United States having its economy downgraded to, on the Standard & Poor's, having the credit rating getting dropped, right?
Correct.
I'm going somewhere with this. Think of it as a little bit of a roller coaster ride here. So we've had that happen under Biden, under Obama, where the AAA credit score got dropped to AA, so on and so forth. And Trump, it's always about the economy. If you go to things like Dun & Bradstreet, you will find a rating for the United States corporation. When these politicos are sworn in, they are the caretakers of that corporation. It's no longer about we the people. And that's what every American needs to get their head wrapped around. The U.S. is a business. It's an economy.
Right.
It's a good municipal goods and services corporation. We entrust them with that oath of office, that social contract to the Constitution that hopefully, they would honor what the people want. But every corporation has one inherent issue. And we've learned this from Alex. Either corporations grow or they get stagnant, which means these folks have to do things to keep bulking up this government in spite of us needing to prune it wisely and tactfully.
Right.
So in the course of pruning, the different special interests, some of which you've discussed tonight, they like to do what's called a catch-22, where they leave what you call the proverbial poop in the punch bowl, where you either do this and you're screwed, or you do that and you're screwed. Either way, we can relate this to the Epstein files. We can relate this to different cover-ups through history. So the American people, to get around that, we're going to paraphrase Roseanne Barr. To beat a Jew, you have to use a Jew. To beat their laws and their legalese, you got to know their game. And this is where Robert Barnes has been an asset for you guys and a few other folks, Viva Fry and the rest. But they've never really gone quite down that rabbit hole of that Constitution is a contract. So when they violate the oath of office, that is a breach of contract. So what do you think, Rex? Are we onto something here, or should we continue further?
Yeah, I mean, I think you are onto something here, and I want to see where you're going to take us from here. I mean, I agree with you, right? Like the country, at the end of the day, ultimately, like the government, as it's supposed to function, state and federal, it's supposed to be a business, right? Like you are putting money in, you're investing into the system, you're supposed to get a return on your investment. And then the president, the shareholders, the executives, people in the positions of power, it's their job to increase the return for their shareholders, right? But we've all invested, we've bought stock, we've put money into the economy, and it just gets worse for us. And the only people it gets better for are the people that are violating their oath, like you said.
Correct. Now, whether we do it voluntarily or not, when they assign us a social security number and all that at birth, that's an argument for another day. And to be honest, you actually
true libertarian.
You don't want to mess around with that. You don't want people to cut you off from your funds. So never screw with that. I'm going to leave that in its side basket. These folks, if they don't hear from we the people, that's the first thing. I've called into Harrison and Alex and others. You got to get involved locally. It's what the Democrats have figured out is you get more done at the county and state levels than you will nationally. So if they're not hearing from us, they're not hearing our voice in writing. Remember, the pen's stronger than the sword. We're a nation of laws, not men. If we don't tell them in writing what we're serious about, like John Hancock told King George and the rest of the founders did, we're just yelling outside the Capitol. We're just banging on the doors. They're going to still look down from their towers and be like, they're not serious. They can't even sign what they want. If you don't send them a list of demands and put them on notice, you haven't even began any process with them that they have to respond to. They just consider it another excuse for them to send the police out and crack down on people.
They're always finding more reasons to do that. And they're finding reasons for us to be proud of them doing that too. And it's just like, I got a video of the lady that gets brained 3 times in the head. And I look at that and I'm like, well, like New Groper would make the argument, he's running her over and she's running him over, and he gets to mag dump because he's trying to prevent her from killing other people. I look at it, I see a lady going maybe 5 or 10 miles an hour. And that's dangerous for the dude standing in front. But I think she put it in drive and was just kind of moving forward and trying to get out of there and panicked like a lot of them do. And he was clear of the car and he shot her twice in the head. And I look at that and I look at ICE created in 2003, right along with the Patriot Act, all these things. And somehow, I'm anti illegal immigrant. I want them all gone. But instead of creating a system where we could reasonably get them out administration through administration that people wouldn't buck or rebel against because it was grotesque or too much or cruel, we got this military, not even, it's law enforcement, but it's immigrations and customs enforcement, and got an American citizen dead. So I look at that and I'm just like, what's your perspective on all that? And what's your identity politically? Do you have one? Or you're an independent? You're a former Democrat, Republican? What are you? And what do you think on that?
I would say I'm a Ron Paul libertarian, and Ron Paul had a great suggestion. Once we collapse the Fed and the IRS, we can go back to the government being the size it was before the Patriot Act, and we'd be just fine. This bloat of government, it's like you got to think of it in the terms of a business like it's a tree, and you got to prune it. And where there's fruit that's good, keep that fruit on the vine and grow that. Like when we help nations develop their economies, and in turn they invest in us, but we don't necessarily need their workers. I'm against the H-1B visas and all that. But there are so many vines and branches we've had that don't bear good fruit, that grow withered and corrupt. And, instead of growing up to the sun, they're going down in the dirt and putting our nation, pulling us further into the dirt, if you will, that we need as a people to learn what those scissors are, or those shears to, cut those parts of this nation off from us and tell them to go away. It's almost like Alex has said, you can go to an island in absentia with all your money as a globalist. We just never want to deal with you again. The issue is they will not go away.
Right.
So that's where prison has become the option.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of knowledge. I like to talk to Harrison, give him like a little tip of the day, a little pointer of the day. So we just have to get our heads wrapped around that there's Downs versus Bidwell decision. Supreme Court Justice Harland said that the two forms of government exist at the same time. There's one that is the government we see in the Constitution. And in this dissent, he expressed that also there's another government that runs at the same time and it handles the business of the country.
Yes.
When you reconcile those two, think about like the double-headed eagle we always see in like fascist artwork, or the phoenix, one looking forward, one looking back.
I want to talk about that, and I agree with you 100%. And I'll let you elaborate further, but I want to make this point before I forget it. I often talk about this. We're told, you learn this in school. Hopefully you do. Hopefully you learn even this little bit of propaganda, that we have three branches of government. We have legislative, executive, and judicial, and that it's a balance of powers. There's checks and balances. And if Congress passes a law and the president approves it and the law is unconstitutional, the Supreme Court can shut it down. And if the Congress passes something, the president can veto it, but then 2/3 can vote and push it through regardless. Like we're like, oh, well, like it's supposed to work. And you put the people in charge that represent your agenda or the agenda they preach to you and convince that's yours. And you're like, that's my team. That's it. And then you got the real power, which is the people that you elect. They appoint people. They appoint people to boards. They appoint people to be judges. They appoint people to various positions within these different 3 and more letter agencies, right? And you've got that group as the bureaucrats. That's the real power in Washington, combined with the other branch, the CIA, right? And the intelligence community as a whole, the Five Eyes or Six Eyes, Mossad, Israel, all of it. And then you've got the big money interests. You've got the billionaires. You've got the defense contractors. And that's our real government. And those are the people that Trump and Obama and Biden and Bush and all of them have always worked for, right? And you, as a Ron Paul libertarian, you know this. I mean, how much, because I'm assuming I'm younger than you. I'm 23. And like, just how old are you, number one? Number two, how have you seen the country change? And have people always believed in this myth that if they just put the right person in, it'll get better?
Well, if I may, Rex, 49 next, how long is it till Saturday? It'll be in a few days. So
God bless.
I'm a little younger than Alex, but a little older than yourself and Owen and Harrison. And I've been watching Alex since 1997 when a sergeant down at Miramar said, watch this guy from Texas. He's got the true dope. So where I agree or disagree, I always kept an eye on what Alex is doing. And the mythos of America is supposed to be what we're taught, that we had a thing called Schoolhouse Rocks in the 80s,
right.
Where they talk about a bill on Capitol Hill and,
right.
The Battle of Lexington and Concord where the shot heard around the world. What they didn't tell us was that after the Civil War, they incorporated our country because America had different issues with the central bank and defaults and bankruptcies. And so the military is, if you want to think of continuity of government, I've seen document PDFs on historical sites, including .gov websites, where the military wasn't supposed to always be standing. You've heard about the militias, obviously. Well, Congress was supposed to disband the military after every war and let just the trainers and the NCOs and the officers stay at the bases. But instead, we developed a permanent military on base, which the founders knew were going to create a national debt. That was one of the ways they got us into debt, was we always had to have funds to pay for a military that was permanent. And this occurred post-Civil War. If you remember, in the Civil War, it was a lot of militias from different states fighting a Union army. After that, there was always the presence of a Union army. And that's not to say the army and the military are bad. It's just you have to understand how we get into this big debt. When we're generating so much money, why do we have so much debt? Because at the same time, most of the technologies we're developing, the globalists are developing them for warfare, whether it's quiet weapons for silent wars or open, mass slaughters like we will see in other parts of the world. I'm sure we're going to see more of this stuff in the future as well, unfortunately, hopefully not on our shores. But
It's very tough. It's very tough,
go ahead.
and we project power. We have like 600 military bases, and God knows how many more they don't even tell us about all over the world, all over everywhere. Trump says we wants to take Greenland, like we already have military base there. And you look at everywhere across the world, and you look at our home. Our home is destroyed. And like even in my lifetime, I've seen it get destroyed. I've seen it get much worse. And I don't understand. Obviously, you're awake and alert and aware to all of it, but I don't understand how people like even much older than you, like the boomers, for example, I don't understand how I guess they're happy with it. What is that like people that are in the generation before you that you've known and you've watched just throughout political life and just people talking about politics and what they believe is they like do they believe in these people? Really?
Well, here's the issue, Rex. If you recall these characters called Carnegie and Rockefeller, who took over our school systems in the late 1800s, the first, I would say, full rollout of their propaganda and their schooling was after Franklin Roosevelt's Great Society and the New Deal. Excuse me, Great Society is more LBJ, but point is from Wilson to FDR, that turn to socialism was a big deal. And the American people were brainwashed in so many different degrees that, one, they weren't taught how the government actually functions. They removed, civics education and replaced it with social studies and social justice. And then two, the idea of I was wrong my whole life. I may have to do something different in terms of political and worldview. A lot of people don't want to be bothered or responsible for that knowledge, so they try to ignore it. And of course, then you get the blue-haired screaming ones like we unfortunately saw with a lady up there in Minnesota.
Right.
In her situation, she wouldn't have been in that situation if boomer politicians were not importing Somalis and ICE didn't have to be there. Trump's actually doing what is the due process in which you cross into someone's yard illegally, they grab you by the neck and the belt loops, they throw you back over the fence and say, go away. That's your due process. You're not entitled as a foreigner in this nation to have a big court proceeding unless your individual state, for some reason, decides to side with them and start giving them rights that Americans don't even have in their own neighborhoods. So this cultural issue of the diversity is our strength, as your previous caller Groiper had referenced. It's amazing. The diversity has always dropped off in the most patriotic pro-America areas, almost as if to punish those areas for breaking away from King George. So Philadelphia, Boston, New York have been horribly, horribly targeted with this liberalism. And the sad part, in terms of the laws, there's what they call the California model. They actually tested this all out in San Francisco in California when they created this state from the California Bear Republic, and they turned it into part of the Union. They actually rushed that process, partly because of the gold rush, but also because they just wanted to get it done. And what they did out here, follow me with this, Rex, sorry, brain fart. Follow me with this, my brother. They took all the American, like you could think of it as Wild West saloons in San Francisco, and the sheriffs and the marshals and just people being decent, common law, following the Bible in one hand, Constitution in the other, and they corporatized everything. They turned coroners into medical examiners. They took sheriffs out of the town and put police officers in them. Instead of ensuring justice and swearing to the Constitution, these guys are loyal to the police commissioner and the mayor, and their job is collect tax revenue. Now, when you start doing that too much and the people are like, I got no money for my expenses, and then something in a town like, say, Ferguson, Missouri kicks off, I don't agree with that. Ferguson had the riots, but those people were so destitute that eventually, seeing cops in their neighborhood and so on, they thought they were being put upon without realizing that it's a whole system that we have to peel off like a bad Band-Aid and replace with the actual remedies, which is we the people lawfully assembled to petition, written instrument, Barnes can tell you about that, petition for redress of grievances. If we don't tell them, you work for us, you're the public servant, you do your job this way. And if they laugh you out of the room, that's fine. That's where Robert Barnes would be able to step in and make the difference. give or take whether you believe the bar attorneys are working for or against the U.S., that's a debate for another day. But at the end of the day, these folks, they are in breach of contract when they swear to do something and then they turn around on the record and don't do it. So we have a remedy that exists right there with just their oath of office. This is why 70 members of the Biden administration, if you recall, it came out that they didn't have proper oaths of office, including a certain vice president who became a presidential nominee. Funny about that.
Yeah.
You know, if that little deep diver is true about his statements, that he couldn't find Kamala Harris's lack of oath of office, we had second person in line of succession improperly sworn in to the presidency. So if Biden had had a stroke, she would have been there, and there's a reason for that. They don't want to be liable for what they have to do under that oath, which means she's committing a fraud on the people, and fraud for a public office also has fines and penalties and is a felony. 2 years in jail minimum, if I recall, and you have to pay back every penny you earned in that office. But are we the people going to chase it?
I like that.
So
I like the strategic civics. I think that's that's a good channel name or a good show name. Honestly, I think the lack of knowledge that we have, even that I have, of how our system works, and the fact that our founders anticipated a lot of these problems, and they did put guardrails in place that the people are just ignorant about and aren't able to use. It's like talking about, I have heard Barnes talk about that, the petition for redress of grievances. I've heard him speak on that, and I agree. Right. Like this is what I feel is like we've been wronged by our system, by our government, by the people that we put in power. And it's like you say, they took the oath. They took the oath and they're in violation of it. So in closing, what else? Like, I want to have you call in again. It's been very good. I know you call in with Harrison and stuff. So definitely leave a comment under the stream and I'll follow you back on Twitter and we'll have you back on. Wow. Very thought through and very educated and very uplifting to do the true white pill, which is to go, hey, like things get bad. Like if we're able to wake people up and show them this information, we have a way to get out of this.
Well, thank you, Rex. I will follow up with that. And I do know people who are more knowledgeable than I am. And like your dad referenced a guy named Red Beckman. That was a man who fought the bankers and got the mortgages of 5 widows stopped as far as the banks claiming their ranches, because, you know, after the husband dies, all debts are solved with the banks. Well, the banks were still trying to foreclose on widows. I mean, bankers can be wicked people. Right. And Red Beckman, he passed away a few years ago. So me and others like me, we try to preserve that knowledge and pass it on, because this is like a relay race. It's got to be the boomers were supposed to pass it on, and some have, but not. We need a few more folks to get done what we got in mind to get this country back on track. But it's going to take we the people, whether it's Texas or Florida, or California, or New York. It's going to take all of us to stand up and say enough is enough. I'll follow up with you on the Twitter in a minute.
I agree. Thank you, man. Just comment under this stream when it posts. I should be live. I'm not sure. Could be another 30 minutes. Could be an hour and a half. I think I do want to take more calls. Thank you so much, Sean. Really appreciate you.
You're welcome.
Peace. Nice. Well, I mean, it just happens every time. Every person we have call in, we have an educated audience. We have an audience that's aware and has opinions and can state them clearly, logically, and can state what they want implemented, how they want it implemented, and why they want it implemented. And you look at everyone else, and like, whether it's Tim Pool, whether it's I don't know, any of these shows where it's essentially just like a circle jerk of topics that never ends, and it's all sensationalism, fear porn, where it's like, oh, look at this, oh, look what happened, look what happened, look what happened. It's like, well, like, we're not hearing anything different, bro. We're just hearing what happened in a different voice and commentary over a video that ultimately is state propaganda and no one probably cares about, right? And, you know, that's a perfect example. And we're doing it fast and loose, fast and loose today. Real fast and real loose. But I'm going to go to my profile and I'm going to go ahead and pull this up for you guys so you can see it. I saw this today, and it's a perfect example of what I'm talking about right now. It's an absolutely perfect example. Rupert, what are you doing? You got to get out of here? Come on. Go ahead and get out of the studio. You can do it. That's a good dog. All right. And I captioned this. I said, pure slop made to feed the boomer. Iran. Woman publicly removes her burqa to reveal a T-shirt carrying explicit message against the supreme leader. Such an act is punishable by death under Iranian law, but protesters willing to take that risk and challenge the regime. And we got this white lady, very clearly white lady, European lady, and she takes off the burqa because she got a rosary on as well, and takes her hair out and then says, like, fuck the supreme leader or F him, right? And then we got the community note. What does the community note say? While protests in Iran's regime are ongoing, this video is from a solidarity event in Paris, France. Oh, of course, it's a fucking lie, right? But then Tim Pool will probably talk about this clip for like an hour and a half and not talk about it from the high level of critique lens that I talk about it. Oh, my Lord, it's just gonna hell. And I'm tired of that, man. I'm tired of that in our politics because there's no room for it. Like, this is fake. But they put this out as legit, and then boom, let's see. Look at this. 1.5 million views, 18,000 likes, 3.4K retweets. Massive. Tons of people saw this. And how many people saw this and didn't scroll down to the community note? How many people saw this and made up their political affiliation in 1 second based off of it? Well, I support Trump now because they're taking off the burqa in Iran. That means it's good. And we got to bomb them and kill all the kids and send the military in and kill American boots on the ground. It's good. And I just reject it totally. And I think all our callers do too. And that's why I talk about us doing a higher level show here, one that's more worth tuning into, one that's more worth watching, because I believe even like as bad as I am at doing this, and I'm terrible. I stutter. I slip up on my words. I forget things I'm going to say. I stare at the screen or stare off into space. As bad as I am at all of this, these people that have like the biggest shows around, they're the worst ever. Like who watches these people? And the answer is a lot of folks, right? A lot of normies. And I'm not sure what that is. I'm not sure if that's lead poisoning or mercury poisoning or whatever. Like I don't believe, like, you have conversations with people and they're smart. And then you talk to them about politics. I was talking to this chick and like early 20s, blonde, beautiful, tattoos, all of it. And she's like coming off as a conservative. So like, oh, like, what's your opinion on Trump XYZ? And she's like, I'm really glad he's showing it to Putin. I'm like, oh, come on, man. We're doing this. We're doing the Russia thing. We've done the Russia thing for over a decade. We're doing more of it. Oh, yeah, well, Putin's a dictator and we're helping Zelensky and Zelensky's good. And I'm like, man. I'm like, okay, like where do you get your information from? And they're like, Crowder, Tim Pool. I'm like, oh, because see, that's a person that we could have woken up, but instead they've been slop milled. They've been put into the slop mill. And now, no matter how much you try to talk to them, all they do is get angrier when you question their position, because being wrong is easy. All right, I'm wrong right now on a whole bunch of fronts, but admitting that you're wrong is much harder, right? And if you've gone through the legwork of, like, I don't know, a 3-month really intense interest in politics that has turned into you following a lot of accounts and subscribing to a lot of YouTube channels, and you talk to someone and you regurgitate the propaganda, the person like me, and I'm not the most educated person in the world, but I do have a political understanding, right? I do understand it, both at a local and global level, geopolitics. You talk to me and I just like, well, I was like, there was a peace agreement, right? And Zelensky was made not to sign it by Boris Johnson, and the Russians only had 3 demands. They wanted to recognize Crimea, they wanted Donbass as independent states, and they wanted no NATO in Ukraine, which is totally reasonable. What would happen if someone put missiles in Cuba? Oh, wait, we did that experiment. So it's okay for us, but not okay for them, or vice versa. So you can try to bring these things up, and the person will say that you're lying to them. Source. And that's why, like, I literally have a folder on my phone full of documents, because you literally, and that's the thing, is you come off as the schizo because you're like, oh, let me prove, like, I know the truth, I know the reality, I know the facts. And because you're educated, because you're informed on the actual situation and what's going down, you are the bad one. You are the crazy person. You are the schizo. And doing this show, we're going to find a way to break that. We're going to find a way to break that conditioning on folks, because that's a very real thing. That's a very real thing, and I encounter this a lot. And again, I'm not glazing myself. I'm not saying I'm the smartest political mind out there, but I do have a political mind, and I'm aware of my country and what's going on in it. And just the vast majority of people are not. The vast majority of people don't even vote. And I think the people that don't even vote are probably smarter than the people that vote, because at least they realize they're not going to change anything. So now I'm joining the smart people who are just like, fuck it, we ball, because like that's the situation. It's a lot more. Tim Dillon, man, I love Tim Dillon. He had such a great explanation of this. And I forget the other half of his analogy, but I can give the start and the finish, and one piece from the start and the full finish will be enough. He compares in modern America to a house party. This is an episode from a few years ago. And it's a house party. The parents are away from home, and we're playing musical chairs in a room with no music. And if you say there's no music, we kill you with a gun. And then there are people in the house doing that. There are people also in the house waiting. Rupert, come on. No nicotine pouch. Come on. He swallowed nicotine pouch. He's been known to do that from time to time. But the point is, you got one room where they're playing musical chairs and there's no music. And if you say there's music, no music, we kill you. The other room in the house, people are just waiting for the parents to come home. And who are the parents in Tim Dillon's analogy? It's President Xi in China. I would say it's more Netanyahu and other groups, but China is included in that. I'd say it's about 5 or 6 parents that are going to own us in a decade or two if we don't really wake up out of this and that crash happens. May it happen soon. May it happen soon, because at least then we have some hope. But if this continues on for another decade, we're completely cooked. I have joined the people that are waiting for the parents, except I'm waiting for the parents with a kitchen knife. So it's a little bit different. But I'm not engaging the political system where I'm so brainwashed that, like, let's have a Dan Bongino fan. I'm the biggest Dan Bongino fan in the world. He goes into office and he doesn't do anything that he's supposed to do. He comes back and does the show. And I'm like, I got to tune back into Mr. Bongino. Mr. Bongino's back live. He's back live after all the year being on the administration. And you're like, bro, like, weren't you a fan of him because he wanted to get the Epstein files out? Like, weren't you a fan of him because he was anti-corruption and understood it from a Secret Service and like deep DC perspective? Oh, no, the base of MAGA. Trump's so incredible. Oh, my God. Oh. And I can't do it anymore. And I was like, okay, well, you can smoke opium. We can all smoke opium, but we're all going to die. And like, you smoking opium doesn't change that. So it's a tough conversation to have with people. And like I was talking about with that girl, she doesn't even know. She has no idea. She has no political awareness, but she was confident enough and proud enough in her ideas to, when I responded, literally showed up and pulled receipts up on my phone. You're the schizo, you're the bad guy, you're the problem. So where do we go? Loud crashing noise, always my favorite thing to hear in the studio. Loud crashing bang, that startles me for a second. But where do we go from here? And we'll take more calls here in a second. I'm going to put the intermission screen up and we'll take some more calls. LOL, people just can't think for themselves from Deport Illegals. And that's the username. Kurt, doggies just want scritches behind the ears. Yes, he's going to have the runs. He'll be fine. Yeah, he's addicted. He's actually addicted to nicotine. It's a real problem. Let the dog have his fun. Love the dog. I love the dog too. I love the dog too. I like the laid back vibe on this stream. Well, we're in my house. We're in my house. This should be the living, or not the living room. This should be the dining room. And this is a dining table that I bought from the home decor store at 50% off because it has scratches on the bottom. But I don't care. Bottom's where I put the nicotine pouch after I'm done. So it's a very chill stream. It's a very intimate stream too. I'm in my home. So like, I'm talking to you guys from the perspective of getting home after the day is over, after I've consumed the information for the day, the news media for the day, the political happenings for the day, after I've been on shows, and then I get to come home and be live with you guys. It really is fun, and I really do enjoy it. Let the dog have his fun. Thank you. It amazes from Cole Dotson. Thank you. It amazes me how the shows that make you think a little bit don't get more viewers, but the slop gets all the boosting because they showed up in 2015 and had time to saturate the algorithm because they're flashy. But Alex, because he give it to you real, gets bump, kiss, and banned. And shows like ours don't permeate the algorithm because we showed up after the guardrails became established. Yeah, I think there's still time online, and like that's what I'm doing the show. Is like, I think there's still time to grow and get out there, but there's a lot of engineering that was done, like conservative ink stuff, like Ben Shapiro type stuff. But yeah, I think I'm going to put the call-in number back up. I want to take a few more calls tonight. I don't want to end the stream. I do have stuff to react to. So go ahead and let me know in the live chat right now if you guys want to do calls. And we'll do calls right now. I got one person new typing in. I'll take your call right now. And everyone else is like, oh, pay me money for super chat. Oh, I'll take your call in my home, sitting here right now. We'll go over what you think, and we'll try to find somewhere where we meet. But yeah, let me know. But for the time being, I'll go ahead and get through some of these stories that I have. And I thought this was interesting because everyone's advocating for the return of this guy's son right now to the throne, Reza Pahlavi. Okay, we're going to watch this really quick, and then we're going to go to D. D, if you want to call in, I know you wanted to call in. It's still live right now. It's still live right now. And the number is 512-675-7144. That's 512-675-7144. 512-675-7144. Very easy number to remember, actually. 512-675-7144. So feel free to call in at 512-675-7144. Awesome. Let's watch it.
Surely, Your Majesty, you're not telling me that the Jewish lobby in the United States pulls the strings of the presidency?
Not entirely, but I think even a little too much, even for Israel interests.
You think the Jewish lobby in the United States is too powerful for the interests of Israel?
I think so. Sometimes they are disserving the interests of Israel because they're pushing around too many people.
Why would the President of the United States pay attention to that lobby?
They are strong.
Strong in what sense?
They are controlling many things.
Controlling what?
Newspapers, medias,
Your Majesty.
banks, finances, and I'm going to stop there.
Well, now wait just a second. Surely, Your Majesty, you're not telling me that the Jewish lobby in the United
you can't
States
do that.
pulls the
And
strings.
see, like he says at the beginning, they control it almost to a degree that isn't good for them, right? Because it isn't good for them. And that's why I brought up the point of, when you're doing an operation is illegal or is rooted in bad faith, you're trying to get it over with as soon as possible, right? You're trying to outrun the consequences essentially. And we don't see that with them. They're like, hell yeah, we're going to genocide for years. This is what we do. No other nation gets to operate this way. Not in the modern era. It's definitely happened before. It's colonialism. That's what it is. We're going to take D's call, TTK. How are you doing tonight?
Hello.
You're live. How are you doing tonight, Blair? Are you with
Rick,
us?
can you hear me?
Yeah, you cut out a little bit.
Hey, sorry about that. Yeah, so sorry, I'm at work sneaking out kind of, but
You're good.
yeah, this is Trans Tim Kennedy from the chat.
Nice. Shout out to Trans Tim Kennedy, dude. Right on.
Yeah, I've had to show up. Well, just wanted to call in quick just to show some support, but
I appreciate it.
one thing, stay on topic is, I'm 37 years old. I grew up listening to your dad since I was in junior high. One thing I've noticed is that everyone in my generation has no clue what's going on as far as actually what's going on in our political system or how it works. So maybe just some education would help out the public.
I love it.
When I was in high school, there was no political classes.
Right.
I went all the way through community college, got my bachelor's degree. No political education whatsoever. I have a degree in business management, and not one time did we talk about how the government works. I haven't had any education, so everything I know I've had to research myself or listen to your dad. So maybe, like you were suggesting, segments as new viewers come in, maybe just take some time to put some education out there. Hey, just so you guys know, this is how this works. This is how this works.
Like
you know what I'm saying?
And I mean, that's what the last caller was talking about. I forget the term I used, but not weaponizing, but to defend ourselves with civics and with the knowledge of our government.
Yeah.
I think the reason why people my age are really upset is because we're iPad kids. We've always had the phone essentially. And we see what happens. We see the live leak videos, which essentially is what X is now. and we're like, we want this to change. And then we look at how bad inflation has gotten just in our lifetime. We're like, man, like this hasn't been an issue for prior generations, but it's like you say, it's a deliberate lack of education. They keep it that way so you don't know what you're actually voting for or against.
Exactly. And I think one of my favorite things, and people take it for granted, but knowledge is power.
Right.
And if you don't have the knowledge, you're not going to know what to do in any circumstance. So now this might be a little conspiracy minded, but I think the focus is, in general, in the United States, is not to educate on what really matters. It's to show you how to get a job, how to work in the corporate system, and how to be politically correct. Or at least that's how it's been through my experience.
Right.
And we'll never get to the actual root cause.
Right. And now it's not even that anymore. Now it's not even the lie they told you, which is like, we're going to just like figure things out in the system and it'll all get better from here. Now they're like, look, you're going to drive for DoorDash. You're going to drop ship from your house. You're going to pick up groceries for people. You are a serf. It's what Russell Dobler of Due Dissonance calls the peasant mind.
Exactly. No, I totally agree with that. And that's exactly what I'm getting at, is maybe if we can just somehow educate our fellow man, fellow woman,
right,
in whatever capacity we have, maybe it would make a difference.
Right. No, I agree with you 100%, man. And like, if you got more topics you want to get into, I'm happy to get into them now. I know you mentioned you snuck off. You're always welcome to call in. I am live every day, literally every day. I will need people to call in. Yeah. So please, I beg you to call in. I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
It wasn't, I'm gonna be honest with you, I've never called into a show.
Mm-hmm.
I did have to take kind of a leap, like, hey,
no, I got
kind of nerve wracking, but I'm glad I did. And but jumping in just to the point, I want to kind of not waste anybody's time. So one more topic that burns in my soul is, what are we doing to not only find the root cause of our situation, but what are we doing to address it?
Right.
I mean, there's every podcast, and one thing I love about what you're doing with the gray area is you're trying to come up with solutions. You're not just talking about, oh, woe is us. What are we going to do about it? And I would love to have that be the focus anywhere in any of the podcasts. Just, okay, we realize that we're not in the best situation, but what are we going to do about it? Are we going to organize? Are we going to communicate? Are we going to, what are we going to do? We got to do something. We can't just sit around and talk about what was us. That's just my opinion.
No, I agree with you, man. And that's why we're just starting off having a wide variety of guests. That's going to continue. We're going to have even more people call in. And we had Sean, who's extremely educated and could talk about the documents and things the founders said that are available to us. And it's by finding more people like that, more people with the specialized individual knowledge that we really all should have, all should share. It's through that we find solutions. And, people, they look at my generation and they go it's the most extreme generation. And they look at the left and they're like, oh, it's everyone wants Mamdani, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like, look, we just want positive change. And if there's one side promising a positive change and they get elected into office and they make not only not positive change, but negative change for people, then inevitably the other option is going to be sucked out by the young people. And we saw this with Trump. We saw the overwhelming win in the youth vote for him, minority, all counts. And that's going to the other side now. It's going to the other side because of the actions of the administration. And that's my opinion. I don't know if that's your opinion. I look at it and I'm just like, man, at least what they're promising they're going to do, even if it's horrible for the country, No,
you're right. And one thing I do understand, because I'm human like all of us, is that it's hard to take the first step sometimes. Like just calling into your show tonight. I'm like, should I? I don't know how that works, but I'm glad I did. And I would strongly encourage everybody else to call in and just share your 2 cents.
Yes. I'm saying the same thing.
And build the community. Tell your friend about the gray area. Be like, hey, why don't you check this out?
Right.
He'll take your call. You can you can say whatever you want, but we need to take some action. I mean, and I'm talking about peaceful political education.
Yeah.
Action.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's it. And if I can make a suggestion for guests, there's a very controversial guy that I think is really cool, Brent Tucker.
Unfamiliar.
He's a ex-Delta Force guy.
Okay.
He's doing the Tier 1 podcast now, and that dude is legit. He's all about, and one thing I like about him, very controversial right now, but he's all about the truth. He's just firing up his podcast. It looks like you are. You guys probably talk about some really cool stuff. And then kind of in the same vein, another guy, Nate at Valhalla VFT.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
No, yeah, dude, that guy, I mean, he definitely puts on the show. Like, you know, he's putting a lot into his production, but I think his message is great.
I love that guy.
So
that guy's a guest on the show. I'd love to get these guests, and I'm working on it. It's just it's hard growing the show, you know, and like convincing people to come on, and like I can play surname merchant and be like, well, please, you did Dad's show, so please come on my show, and I can try to do it. We're going to get these guests long term. I agree with you.
No, Rex, I 100% am confident that if you just stick with this and keep doing it yourself, you're gonna kill it, dude. I mean, that's what drew me in.
I appreciate it.
And if I can, just to pick your brain a little bit, when you say challenges to grow the show, can you explain exactly what challenges you're facing right now?
Well, just some technological issues, right? Like we got to do a computer swap. We got to do some just some technical stuff. Really, that's all it is, and it should be handled this month. That's really all it is.
Yeah, and that's it.
Yeah.
Just we're talking about just fucking. I'm sorry. Just do it, man.
You're good.
Just do it.
You can swear on here. It's okay.
Now, you there?
Yeah.
You there? Sorry for cussing. But yeah, dude, just do it. That's what we're talking about. Just go out, whatever you're doing in your life to do the right thing, do it. Get the computer, set it up. Don't take no shit from anyone. And if anyone tells you no, they can go take a walk.
Amen, dude. I appreciate that. Trans Tim Kennedy, ladies and gentlemen. God bless you, sir.
Yep.
Thank you for calling in.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
Wow. You know, we see people comment in the chat, and it's like, well, who is this person you call in? It's like, it's the coolest guy. And it's just like that, after that, after that, after that. And I've just been like, that's the thing I'm happiest about. I'm like a pig in its own poo when it comes to this. It's just like, I can't believe this is real. Like, we have the best viewers, we have the best listeners, we have the best audience. And it's a few people right now, but soon it's going to be big because we're, like you said, we're offering solutions. We're having discussions about solutions. We're actually communicating in a way where we're focused on the future and not the present and the past in the same way that the Republicans and Democrats are. We're actually concerned about 2030, 2035 coming up instead of focusing on identity politics or the 3,000-year-old state of Israel. We're focused on American problems for Americans, but applied to a world and geopolitical lens. So incredible. I'll read some comments and we may take more calls. Not on terrestrial radio, cussing is bussin'. Shout out to Guys Chaser. Great. Awesome name. Awesome name. That I got rickrolled. Chicken Patty. Nick Fuentes feels more like a really smart kid who was trolling. I disagree with that. It's not trolling at all. I think he's legitimate. I think he believes everything he says. Here's the thing. If I didn't believe what I said, I couldn't come out here and just verbal diarrhea my truth. At the end of the day, you could disagree with me and say I'm wrong on some things, but like, I believe what I'm telling you right now. And like, there's a way to do a show where you have the notes and you have a teleprompter and you have the producer and you have all this stuff. And it's like, I operate in this role. Then boom, you're a Fox News host. You're a talking head. There's a way to do this show where you have to do the show, where you don't have an option to not do the show because you have to get it out. And what that is your political consciousness, for me, at least. So for me, looking at I'm grateful for the opportunity to do this beyond anything. I really am. Not beyond anything, but like, to see that y'all are happy with it, it makes me just go over the moon. What's the dang number? I'll put it up here in a little bit. We'll go ahead and do it again. I see you posting knowledge fight links. Like I know what this is. Like I understand. I know their Reddit and their website. I'm familiar. And then you're going to call in and talk about, this might be fun, actually. We could do this. It's like, Dr. Jones Naturals. Whatever. All right, guys, Chaser, I'll give you your opportunity. Yeah, I'll give you your opportunity to do all your craziness. Be good for engagement. Be good. The number is 512-675-7144. The number is 512-675-7144. That's 512-675-7144. Oh, we got 2 calls in the menu. So, guys, Chaser, you can call in. 512-675-7144. I'm going to take these calls. Hey, I'm so sorry for leaving you on there so long. How are you doing?
No problem. This is D. Humble. Is this me? Am I on?
Yeah. Nice to talk to you.
Cool. Thank you for taking my call. I have a few things I wrote down. I don't know what your show is. I heard Sean talk. Seems like I did hear a bit about remedy and solutions, and I don't know who your father is. I apologize.
No, that's great. I prefer
like somebody famous.
I prefer that, honestly. That's great.
Okay. Anyway, so yeah, I love that last caller so much, because what I loved about him, besides everything he said, was his sense of urgency. And I pick up on that right away. I've had a sense of urgency since 2020 and have did a lot of standing up here against everything, the masks, the vaccines,
God bless.
Lost my job, was assaulted, was arrested, lots of shit. And then the drag shows came for the kids, and we went and stood up for that. And we did the meetings and the city councils and the board of supervisors. And we got our little not Facebook, I'm banished on Facebook, actually. We got our little YouTube community together. And we did have some successes. We did have some successes with people learning how to do affidavits. In fact, we had a friend in Ohio that was able to fend off 9 sheriff deputies that were trying to get in her house and harass her and her kids, CPS crap, because she was going after the council, and that's the kind of shit they were doing at that time. And it scared a lot of people. And so then a lot of us were targeted. I was targeted for sure. And so, but I did some YouTube, and I did some classes for the Constitution, and I did them live, and I wanted to learn things live and be raw and real. And I freaking fumbled around, dude. I fumbled around, and you know what? People that actually wanted what I did, they appreciated me fumbling around and just doing it and being faithful and wanting to learn and giving them my time. And I wasn't asking for money. I still don't. What I was doing was different. People, if they are going to ask for money and do the whole thing, there's certain times that doesn't bother me, but I have experience with streamers and popular streamers. I've gone to meet them. I've traveled by car to South Dakota. Mm-hmm. And the first one I met was doing a show like you're doing. Okay. And I had a lot of hope in these kind of people. And he actually came to my county. I live in Humboldt County, California. And, I don't want to say a lot of bad things about it. I don't want to really go into it, but basically he was a grifter, and he wasn't really into the solutions. He wasn't really into the remedies. He didn't give a shit about that. He wanted to have a really good show, and he wanted to be popular and make money, and there's a lot of people out there doing that. Last point I'll make, I guess, and then I'll breathe, but I've been at it for a few years. There's a lot of us that were together at one time in my county 5 years ago. Everybody has gone their own way. Very few people do know how to unite and get over themselves this is what it takes. Literally, you can invite people to participate. I hope that the last caller will check out the assembly call. We have a 2-hour educational call every week on Thursday. All the states call in. And we have been learning about the Constitution. We have been learning about assembling and grand juries and all the things. And there's Michigan's assembled, Alaska's assembled. There are blueprints It's small but mighty. This is not what is super popular right now, but try to get people to get on a 2-hour call once a week. That's the goal. And it's actually quite difficult. So I will pass the talking stick back to you. Thank you for letting me vent. It's been a while. I've been kind of talked out. I've been streaming for years, and I'm kind of burnt. So thank you. And I'll yield. Thank you so much.
You're all good. Welcome to the show. I mean, that's the common theme tonight, and like every show ends up having a common theme. I don't necessarily know what it is when I start doing the show, but this is people upset that like we were taught not to understand or know our government, and people trying to make themselves aware, people that are aware of what's happened and trying to find the remedies and solutions to fix it. And all this stuff at the local level, graduating up to like eventually nationwide, if we're able to get enough people to do these things, to do the redress of grievances, like Barnes talked about, like Sean talked about. Where I agree. Like where can people find you and your information?
Well, my information,
or just if you have it. Excuse me, not trying to be rude.
Yeah, what's that?
I'm not trying to be rude.
national-assembly.net. If they go to national dash, you have to have a dash. There's another channel just like it without the dash. So, and then national-assembly.net is where if they go to conference calls under that tab, they will see what time. They'll see the link for the conference call. You can either call in with your phone if you don't have good internet, but we do have video share and screen share, and it's nice when you're doing an educational call to be able to do that. My information, if they go to my channel, D Humble, I manage different things. It's in the description what I have going on. I'm on X and Rumble has the most history. All my Constitution classes I did years ago, this stuff is there. I just recently kind of dropped doing a couple new things that I was trying, but I'm really honestly burnt. I'm just really burnt right now. And my family needed me, and this last year, I have a ranch, and everything's just taken a precedence over streaming and talking about all the problems. I'm quite tired of talking. I'd rather get my 12 people and go kick some ass. You know what I mean? I'm freaking tired of talking, really.
Fair enough. Well, thank you for your call,
yeah.
D Humble.
Yeah, thank you for taking it. Thank you so much.
100%. Thank you, and feel free to call in again. Thank you.
Bye.
I see a local number. I see 512 number. I assume that's the Chase Geyser guy. But Randy's been sitting here for 7 minutes, and he thinks he was late on joining. We're going to talk to him.
Rex,
What's
I
up?
appreciate you taking my call, sir.
Of course, dude. What's going on?
Not a whole lot. Just kind of joined in first time tonight, and you gave the number out, so I figured I'd holler at you.
I appreciate it.
I wanted to ask, where do you really basically kind of see all this going? I know the caller, not the lady, but the guy before, was basically talking about, how it's frustrating for, I guess, maybe even everyday people to not get like results from government, or always seem things take so long. And I understand that completely, because that's kind of like how I feel. I'm here. I'll just give you an idea. Like, I'm 40. Okay. So I've had like years of, working private sector, stuff like that. But it's kind of, it's hard for me as just a citizen, because when you come from like the private sector, you're used to getting things done,
Right.
like, or held accountable. Like, if you don't show up for work, guess what? You don't have a job the next day. Or if you don't make production, or just everything, guess what? You're not going to have a job at the end of the week. I mean, and it's just it's hard. So it's hard. It's simple stuff like that, but it's hard for us to just have to sit back and watch like the wheels of government just turn ever so slowly. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
It's frustrating to us, and it's not that it's like I feel like we're dumb or anything like that, because I don't think I'm dumb. Like, granted, I come from private sector, like, and I was raised on like this old boomer slop, like, hey, you want to get ahead in life, just bury your head down and work hard. Well, that doesn't work. That doesn't work nowadays. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, and then when you really start waking up and you realize everything, like, hey, they print money out of thin air, and you're over here busting your ass for
Yes.
$15 an hour. Like you know, I mean. I mean, we're basically working for table scraps, less than that, and the whole thing is kind of frustrating. But basically, with all of like the, you know, I guess people like me, you know, there's no place like you were talking about earlier. There is no place for
Right.
like a red, blue, any of that stuff. It's like you're tired of the whole system. I mean, but where do you really see like it going in the future? Maybe do you see like the two-party system maybe being done away with, or it kind of just depends on we the people and what we want and what we're able to really achieve?
That's a banger question. That's a really, really good question. That's something I hypothesize about a lot, right? And I ask different questions and I have different predictions based on future scenarios. So just first off, to make a foundation on the logical arguments I'm going to make here, we are headed
Hmm.
towards a collapse. And when that collapse happens,
Right.
has everything to do with what kind of government we end up with. You mentioned the wheels of government turning slowly, almost like they're not turning at all. I would agree with that, but it's turning the other way. It's turning the worst way. They're doing the opposite of what we told them to do. But it's just slow and gradual enough that it looks like they're doing nothing at all. And then we get mad at them and we go, oh, they're doing nothing. We will elect someone who will do something, whatever the something is. And then our perception is, oh, we elected them to do something. They're doing nothing. They are, in fact, selling us out. So I think a lot of it
Right.
I think a lot of it comes down to AI and robotics in the future. I think if the country remains as it is for another 20 years, the Optimus robot you see all cute and falling over, there's going to be a Terminator version of that. And it won't just be killing the people. It'll be tilling the fields for the elites. It'll be managing the water treatment facilities. It'll be fixing the cable. It'll be doing all that stuff. So if we stagnate and we reach a point where 20 years in the future, the US of A is still here in all but name, but there's a lot less people here because of the plague that came in 2033. And we got all the robots running things now and everything's fine. I think that's the post-political situation where, it's just billionaire playground world forever. I think the more rational, logical thing that's going to happen is a more immediate collapse that happens before 2030, probably before 2028, if I have to be honest. And I think the collective shock
Okay.
of that will wake the American people up to realize that they have no system, and their system they thought they had was turned against them. And then we will consult the old texts and the old documents and figure a way out of this. I think millions die. I think there's a lot of pain. I think a lot of people starve. I think a lot of people die of illness. But I think that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. I'm not calling for anything that kickstarts that. It'll just happen on its own. And in that future,
Right.
in an actual political future where there is, American citizen sovereignty of us getting to pick a government, regardless of whatever government that is, I think you're going to see really hard left. I think you're going to see really hard right. I think you're going to have people in the middle. And if the people in the middle don't have a strong enough message of just leaving this whole, like, why do we have to put a compass direction to it, right? Why can't we just be pro-human? Why can't we be pro-American and take care of ourselves and
Yeah.
our country? I think
Right.
it goes in a lot of different directions. It either ends up apolitical, where we're all dead, or highly political, highly separated. That's my opinion.
Gotcha. Well, that makes sense. Makes perfect sense. But that was kind of my question. It just it's kind of, it's crazy that when you really sit and watch, every day the clown show that is right now,
Right.
and it's frustrating just to not really see any arrest, accountability, that sort of stuff. That's what's the most frustrating to me. Like I can get away with bare minimal and be fine, like, a paycheck to paycheck, which I mean most everyone we're doing now anyways. But it's like, for me personally, if we're not able to get like some accountability, some arrest, something, we're never truly going to be free as it is. And then granted, in some way, I really feel like we never really have truly been free anyways. I mean, I could be wrong about that. Maybe it's just how everyone perceives it, I guess. I mean, I don't know. It's just, it's to me right now, the way I look at it is it's like a damn if you do, damn if you don't type situation.
Yep.
That's where I am. But I appreciate you taking my call so late, and I'll try to catch more of your shows.
Dude, I appreciate it. Feel free to call back in. Like I said, I'll be live every day. So, hey, it's a day of the week. I'll do a call-in show pretty much like every other day. Feel free to hop in whenever you want. Thank you, Rudy. Really appreciate you.
All right. Sounds good. All right.
Randy,
bye.
excuse me. Forgive me. Randy, I apologize. Thank you, Randy. Phenomenal caller. Thank you, Randy. Okay. I see a local number. I think it's the Chase Geyser guy. It's just going to be, all right. Prepare yourselves.
Don't
Go ahead.
impunity by calling me Chase Geyser. Don't call me Chase Geyser. Guys Chaser. Chase Geyser is a racist. Anyway, man, how you doing? I want to apologize and say you don't have to answer for your father. You're not your father. But I also, I really was hoping that as you came into your own, you would find your own path, and you might still. You know, you do have some distinction, you know, and it's pretty cool. And I also want to commend you on how gracious you are with your callers. It's pretty cool. It's very evident that you are appreciative of the time that they are taking to reach out to you. You're taking time to give them considered and thoughtful responses. The notion that everybody would be to do well with civics lessons, great, absolutely awesome. But it's when you take those folks that have that deficit, and when you're raising them up, then and when I say you, I'm not saying you, Rex, but when somebody takes these folks and raises them up, gives them a little bit of truth here, and then takes a little bit of JBS and sprinkles it on top, or a little bit of Fort Huachuca or whatever the heck it is, or a little bit of the Q, or a little bit of any of this globalist elite nonsense. It does the world a disservice. As you talked about a minute ago, and you said there's going to be this coming calamity where millions will die, and there will be factions and left and right and blah blah blah. We just went through that 5 years ago and came together as a world and pulled ourselves through it. And we dragged a whole bunch of us kicking and screaming the whole way, saying, no, we're not going to do it. And a lot of them got sick, and a lot of everybody else got sick too. And a lot of people died. And we still made it through. And we're going to keep making it through as long as we consider and apply the truth.
So you're a normie and you believe in the government?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not. The government does a lot of stuff to help us. I mean, how'd you get to work today? You drove on a road. How'd that road get there? That road got there because of the government.
It's our money, man.
How did you
it's our money. They serve us. They serve us. You say
yeah. Well,
go ahead, man. Go ahead.
The government does a good deal of keeping us safe. Terror attacks that are thwarted. Not to dwell too much about the terrorist attacks that we foment and bring to the fore. Have to recuse ourselves and all that kind of stuff. But the government is necessary. It's necessary. If it wasn't necessary, then back in 1776 when they kicked King George out, they just would have said, okay, so, tits up. It's time for anarchy.
So is a government necessary, or is the government necessary?
Our government isn't necessary. Our
current government is necessary, and it's what the founders intended to design. It's good for us, and it's good for our future.
what you got there is you're setting forth a straw man that you can.
No,
knock
I'm asking
down.
you a question.
And
Is
I'm
our
not gonna
government
fall
good for our
that.
future? Yes,
Yeah,
yes or no?
I have issues with our government. However, it's the best house on a bad block.
Oh, I've heard my
Your
dad say
dad is
that.
so fond of
I
saying.
know you don't like him. I've heard him say that. I disagree with it vehemently. I think we're the worst.
You disagree with what would you say would be the best government?
Well, one that
Would you like
doesn't
a king?
propagandize its own people, one that doesn't commit genocide, one that doesn't fund foreign wars in the interest of other people over their own citizens who starve on the street, which is what we have currently. We're complicit in genocide, and you're like, yeah, it's okay. It's fine, right?
Yeah,
we're complicit in genocide.
I'm not like, okay, that's fine. Absolutely not. See, that's where you go wrong. And what I don't know, and what you can tell us, your audience, is, do you think it is that black and white for someone like me that I have to go along with these other things? If I think that some things over the government are good, like getting regulations that keep atrazine out of the water. Did you know that Trump signed an executive order that allowed companies to put more atrazine in the water?
I believe it.
Trump did that.
I believe it.
In his first term.
We don't like him.
And
We
did
don't
Alex
like him
say
here.
a damn thing about it? No.
Was that,
But
dude,
that's the thing. I
and
wonder,
then you go, I'm not going to make you answer for him. And then you go, he did it. And it's just this game, and we can play it. I know it's exciting. I know it's exciting to get to Inquisition. I do get it. So go ahead.
Oh, what I'm asking is, do you feel that it is that black and white for a person in your audience? That a person in your audience can look at what's going on in Israel and Gaza and say that's a freaking genocide.
Yes.
And a person can look at what's going on in Iran and say, no, you shouldn't be killing protesters. And can look at Maduro and say, Maduro's pretty freaking awful, eating empanadas while his on TV while his people are starving. But also you can say you shouldn't create a rendition of Maduro. And you can also say that when an ICE officer stands in front of a car, he shouldn't shoot the lady in the friggin' face 3 times. It's not black and white. It's a gray area.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I think you're making the assertion that I'm framing things as black and white. I'm saying the whole world, there is no good guy, bad guy story. There is no Star Wars narrative.
No.
I've said that dozens of times on the show.
I'm
the
not
whole
saying
point.
that at all.
That's the whole
I'm
point.
saying that your line of questioning was an attempt to get me to take a side, one or the other.
Well,
so
yeah.
that
What is your position? I've made my position clear. What is your position? You go, I support this thing here. I don't support this thing here. I support this thing. I don't support this thing. What, like you come here, you ask me questions. What is your position? What is your justification for these things? These questions that you ask me. What is your position?
My justification for these things, honestly, is the same reason why I would post knowledge fight in your chat, and that is to be a light bringer to this gray area.
Good grief.
To provide some information to folks.
It's not hidden knowledge. 2 guys, Dan and
fact.
Jordan or whatever their names are, they do a podcast. They hate on my dad professionally. It's, I admire anyone who does a show, especially with consistency. They do a show. You can watch it. They have a subreddit. I highly suggest you check it out. That's Knowledge Fight. I think it's Dan and Jordan. This is not, I'm bringing the secret knowledge that everyone hides away. It's just like, what is your Dr. Jones Naturals point? Now, we can talk a lot more. We don't have to end it here. I know you want to get into politics.
That I think is funny. Back when Dr. Jones Naturals was originally created, Dr. Jones Naturals, David Ross Jones, was created, I bought the domain Dr. Jones Naturals, and I pointed it to Knowledge Fight. And then years later, I let it lapse, and then Mark Cuban bought it. And Mark Cuban pointed it at Cost Plus Drugs, and I think that's hilarious. So that's that. He didn't buy it from me either. He just bought it because I let it lapse. But anyway, the thing is, with regard to Knowledge Fight, they don't necessarily hate on Alex. In fact, Dan started listening to Alex because Alex was entertaining, and a long time ago, Alex was entertaining, and Alex went through some changes, as we all do, and there were some things that Alex did that our government has decided that he's going to pay for, and you're well aware of it, and I don't need to tell you about that. But what I would like to say that Dan and Jordan do is explicitly take the things that Alex says. Go ahead, take the things that I say and go and research this and find out for yourself. And Dan and Jordan actually do that. They take Alex completely within context. Not a single thing is played out of context. They'll play a 5-minute piece of Alex and then dissect every single portion of it in order to let you know where what Alex is talking about came from. Agenda 31 is, or whatever it is, I don't remember, is a big one. Another one is this whole Podesta plan, which Alex pushes. And again, you've gotten me to the point where, you didn't get me. I've gotten myself to a point where I'm just talking about Alex, and I don't want to talk about Alex. I do want to talk about being truthful and honest. Like, so much AI slop is being pushed out right now regarding this thing in Minneapolis. People are posting false arrest records that were AI generated, and they're just running with it. And just like Twain said, or at least somebody attributed it to him, a lie will get halfway around the world before the truth gets his pants on. And I want to impress upon you that, yeah, Rudy Giuliani said, the truth isn't always the truth. But there are facts, and there is reality, and there's an objective reality. And the only way forward for us as a human species is for us to agree on what is objective reality. And we can go ahead and hate one another, but we don't need to lie about one another in order to still hate one another.
Interesting points. Well, thank you. I appreciate you calling, and I appreciate you saying your piece. And people want to research and look into it, then you go to Knowledge Fight. And I mean, I've watched several of their episodes, man. I haven't streamed their whole podcast or done anything like that, but I'm familiar with their program. I'm familiar with all the various different programs.
Did you know that Dan was part of the deposition?
Why?
Why? Because Dan is considered the de facto expert on your father.
Yeah, y'all are people that would like to see us burn at the end of the day. So there is no peace with you, but I do respect you and the points that you made today.
There's that black and white again. There's that
no. There were 79 people that were employed. Now there's a lot less. There are people that have lost their job and opportunity and not been able to take care of their family because of people like you saying that he need to be taken off air. So it reaches a certain level where I'm just not okay with it. It reaches a point.
It all comes down to a particular individual who didn't participate in the system, and ultimately, because he didn't, he ended up having a default judgment against him, and now he's lost everything.
All right. Well, we disagree on that. Perhaps we can do a deep dive in the future over the case and all of it, and over the depositions and the call-ins and all of it. And maybe we can call you, and maybe we can debate these things in the future. But it's a long stream tonight. So I wanted to give you the opportunity to speak and to just give your opinion. I've seen you in the chat and in the comment section. Like I review my Twitter frequently. So like I've seen you around. I've seen other people around. Ultimately, here's the thing. Like if I'm a dishonest actor here, like I'm not going to let you talk. I'm just going to hang up on you. Right. So like I'm happy to hear from you. Happy to hear from other opinions. Right. And there are other opinions. We just don't agree, and we're not going to agree, quite frankly. But we can.
And that's fine. That's fine. And I get hung up on a lot.
It's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Thanks, Rex.
You. Appreciate it. Appreciate the call.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Dang, we've been hosting the call thing for 116 minutes. 117. Do I take one more or do I cancel it? I think I cancel it. I think we're good. All right. Do I end the show first? Or do I cancel it? It's just, I don't want to mess it up. And then I end show. Boom. Okay. All right. Well, I wanted to get to Anomaly and that stream that I talked about. I wanted to review it, but it's just we're getting long into the night now and it's a weekday. And I have the dog and I have dog walker coming in the morning so I can work and be down south before it gets bright. So like, I don't know. I want to go live more. That's the thing is it's very addictive to go live. Like once you get used to it, I'm like, I should be filming right now. I should be filming, but it's like, no, Rex, you should be asleep. So I should go take a nap. I will read a couple. Don't end with that guy. Hey, it's fine, dude. Like it is what it is. Or I guess you're ma'am. Excuse me. My bad. It's fine. Like that's the show. Ultimately, like I've said many times, if it's just people agreeing with each other, I'm not interested. I want to hear people disagree. I mean, the name of the show is literally Gray Area. See, I won't even. Here's the thing. And the caller, I'm sure he's still listening. He won't believe me when I say this, but Alex taught me to take the high road, man. So I'm not. It's not my job to diss people. People can make up their own minds about the conversation. Rex had a tech issue earlier. Yeah, I think I might spit. I think I might spit on Trump's asshole and work my tongue on his taint for the pavement. I don't even know if that's in context to or whatever. Oh man. Good evening to you, Four Corners. Good evening to you. All right, well, we might as well review some of the stuff I still have, right? So Fishback on the campaign trail, getting crowds, getting people to show up. He's going to need a lot of people to beat Byron. It's a tall task ahead, but I think he can do it. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, this is fun. Him making more military threats he shouldn't be able to make. Go and watch it.
Greenland should make the deal because Greenland does not want to see Russia or China take over. They don't go there. It's very far away from Greenland. And Greenland, basically, their defense is 2 dog sleds. Do you know that? You know what their defense is? 2 dog sleds.
Now, like this is the Quirk Chungus face right here. This is what a Quirk Chungus is. If you didn't know the term, it's a new modern Zoomer English term. It'll be in the dictionary in 100 years. This is a Quirk Chungus. This is like an unwholesome Chungus. And then he's paired with the Quirk Chungus right here as pictured bottom right. Very interesting. I don't actually think we're going to go in there. I think it's posturing. I mean, we already have a military base there. So like, why would we need to fully make it a protectorate or take it over? But I think he is, I believe the saying is feeling his oats after the Venezuela incident. So we may do that. And that'd be interesting to see. I don't want it. I'm against it. I'm against the Venezuelan thing. And it's just like, if I'm talking about a caller, I want to give them the opportunity to respond. But it's just like with positions that are schizophrenic that you hold, like you want Maduro out, don't want them, the protesters in Iran, but it's the people, the regime, because it's the president, not the Ayatollah. You got Trump being good, because the knowledge fight people are not fans of Trump, but somehow our government is okay and everyone liking him is cool. Here's the thing, and he's like asking me if things are all black and white. I'm like, no, like everyone is like not to be trusted and bad, like in a governmental or society sense, and like that's my political position, that's my take, right? So like I don't even know, but 512 area code, Austin number. I have an Austin number. We're a little different here. So we'll talk more in the future. That was fun. You might be against it, but tell it to Venezuelans today. I mean, we're not out of their country yet. This has just begun. Her lips look like balloons. Chungo. Yes. All right. Well, you know what? I think I'm going to end it here. This has been a good show. I appreciate everyone, especially who called in. I appreciate everyone who joined the live and watched it. And I would just ask you, if you're still here and if you're still interested, just subscribe to the Gray Area YouTube and Rumble, whichever one you use or both, and then subscribe to Gray Area Talks on X. If you're watching this on X, you're probably following me already, but if you're not following me, I would assume you're watching it through my profile. We do this, or I do this, we do this collectively. We do the Gray Area Thursday, Sunday, big, massive shows, big, massive guests, big, massive deep dive into information. Tim's here with me, breaking it all down. And then during weekdays, during the time of the week where it's Monday, Wednesday, or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, 5 days a week, you get me in the chair. And about half of those days, it'll be like 2 days a week or 3 days a week. It'll be play it by ear. About half of those days, we'll do call in. So that'll be super fun. And I enjoy it. I enjoy it all. Now, if you are completely schizo or crazy or crash out or just like, demon possessed, whatever, I will kick you off the call immediately. But if you disagree, or even if you're like have a controversial disagreement or, vehemently disagree like the other guy did, right? And like, feel free to call in. Just don't crash out. Just don't crash out. And we won't crash out. I won't crash out. We won't hang up on you. You're always welcome on the show. Subscribe. Thank you. The show is a victory today. We got one. We got one guy to subscribe, to follow us. And like, that's literally all I care about. One more. That's how we do it. That's how we get to where we need to be. Thank you. Thank you for taking. Oh, thank you, Trans Tim Kennedy. Thank you. You're a great guy. I want to say thank you to Randy. Sorry for calling you Rudy. There's another guy who's cool named Rudy who watches the show. I apologize. Shout out to you, Randy. Shout out to Randy. Shout out to you. Got you on X. Thank you, Four Corners. Total victory. Show doesn't get any better than that. And I will say, I'll address this. People were asking me to live review Fuentes or whatever. I guess he's live right now. I don't care about that. Like, I'll watch that later if I decide to watch it later. Ultimately, let him water his giant orchard. I'm going to water my little potted plant over here, and we'll be good. And I respect him. He's better than me. Like, objectively, he's got more talent. He's better at doing a show. So kudos to him. Shout out to him. But this is not like, there's a lot of those channels, right? And maybe some of them are watching right now. And shout out to you. A lot of you follow me, a lot of the like Groper accounts and whatnot. But like, this is not a place where like we have like the beefs inside of like one faction and we cover that, or even just cover one show. Like, I watch all the shows. I watch left-wing shows. I watch right-wing shows. I watch centrist. I watch Cigar. I watch Chank. I watch Anna Kasparian. I watch Tim Pool even sometimes. I watch Stu Dissidents. I watch Glenn Greenwald. I watch Judge Napolitano. I watch all these people, right? It's no fun just zooming in on one thing. When one thing is cool, then you zoom in on that for a while, and then you bring it back into the full picture. So like that's, I'm interested. I'll probably watch it because I like hearing him talk. Now, that's the main reason. I'm a fan at the end of the day, but it's not being a fan for the normal reason that a person will be a fan. It's more of a reason of like, I admire his ability to do the job, because the job is not easy. It's more difficult than people think. But with that said, I will close things out. Thank you so much for calling in, tuning in, sharing whatever you did tonight, even just clicking once and then leaving the show, even if you tune in for a millisecond. Thank you so much for being here. It means the world to me every time. I will be here, like I said, 5 days a week, but and Thursday and Sunday, it will be me and Tim, 7 day a week. Gray Area Talks, Rex X Gray Area. You're not going to want to miss a single episode. But if you do, it's okay, because we got plenty coming down the pipe. Thank you all for being here with me tonight. God bless, good luck, and good night. Or good morning pretty soon.
Modern life has left us out of balance. Long ago it was once said, certain remedies could grant a man the vitality of a horse. For over 6,000 years, these natural remedies have been harvested and tested by generations. Why create complex formulas when nature's roots are still in our hands? Try Primal Core. Ancient remedies for modern life.